Yes, hello everyone. Here we are. I don't know why my name is in pink. Let me fix that real quick. All right. Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? All right, nicknames. Okay. I don't like the display thing here. But yes, we are here to talk about Big Brother 27 is yeah, we're here. It's crazy. I can't believe there is a new season happening already, considering that, like, I feel like we just talked about Big Brother 26. I know it's been a while since I've done pretty much anything on this channel, but I knew Big Brother was coming back, and I figured you guys would want to see a bit of a cast assessment of sorts. So we're just gonna go ahead and jump right into it. I do want to talk about right off the bat, though, before we do jump into this season and kind of like my thoughts on everything. There's a couple things that have been announced that I think that you guys probably want me to get into. One of which is about the 17th house guests. Everyone's speculating, you know, what the hell's going on there? What's this 17th house guest about? Is this a former Big Brother player? Is this like is this a challenge player? Is this someone we've never seen on Big Brother before? What really could this mean? There's so many possibilities. And I'll just tell you right now, I think regardless of what is going to happen, I think most likely, hold on one second. I think most likely, no matter what happens here, I don't think this person's actually here to play the game. I think instead what we're doing is that this whole season's like murder mystery themed. We've seen the house, we've seen how much they are really dedicating to it this year. How they're going as far as to have the 17th house guest in like a mask and things like that. So I don't think this person's actually here to play the game. What I think instead is that this person is they're going to create an illusion that this person's here to play the game. And then in reality, what's going to then happen is that person is going to unmask, and it's going to be like, oh my God, this person's actually here to, we're going to see them like be well insulated. And then all of a sudden it's going to be like, oh my God, this person's actually here. Hello, Josh. Always great to see you. But this person's actually here to be the murder victim, and we're going to hear like a blood-curdling scream, and then the rest of the season's going to be like, we need to solve the murder. I think that's why they're keeping things so under wraps here. I think episode 2 probably ends with said house guest being murdered, and the rest of the season's going to be them discovering that. So that's what I think is really going on there. I don't think this is something where this is going to result in, this whole thing where, we have like, it's going to be like a Paul situation on Big Brother 19. I don't think it's going to be like Suri on Big Brother 25. Both of those seem just a little too much like been there, done that. I feel like this season, they're doing something different. I don't feel like this person's actually here to play the game. Julie even said that this is somebody that they didn't expect to get. And like, we know that there's a lot of people that probably don't want to do Big Brother because of just how long the experience is. We know that it nearly like killed Suri. Like she did not like the fact that it was as long as it was. So I feel like in general, like this is going to be somebody that, like I said, not really there to play the game. Instead, they are there to simply be a victim of sorts. They're there to kind of set up the initial conflict of the season. And from there, we'll kind of see what ends up happening. I think there's a few possibilities for how that all ends up playing out. But personally, I'm just really excited to see what they end up doing. I think there's a lot you can do with this twist. And also I like the fact that they're really seeming to like go all out with the theme here. This is not one of those seasons where they are half-assing things by any means. I mean, they really are doing a fantastic job of, you look at the house, you look at, again, like I said, just the fact that like this person's going to be like, cloaked and things like that. They really are trying to do something here. Gone are the days where we would have a theme and then they just kind of forget about it. I really think these past couple seasons, 25 and on especially, we are going to see much more of a focus on the actual theme and them actually trying to do something with that theme. And I think that's what is very exciting here. So I think there's a lot of potential. I think there's a lot that they can definitely do with this moving forward. And I'm really excited to see how that all ends up playing out. I think, like I said, there's a lot of possibilities, and I'm just really excited to see how it all does go down. Sorry, I'm trying to make him public on Facebook, and it's just not letting me do that. Kind of struggling here to figure out how you navigate this thing, because before there was an option where you can just go public, and now they're not giving me said option, and this video is only private for myself, and no one's gonna fucking watch this video on Facebook if it's only private for myself. So I would like some help here. If anyone knows how to fix this, I would like some help, because I don't know what I'm doing. Okay. Settings, viewer, allow viewers to rewind, sure. Allow viewers to message you. Okay, but how do you make it private? Or how do you make it public? That's literally all I need to know. If you're able to show me how to do that, then that would be very helpful. Unfortunately, there does not seem to be a way to change that. So I might not be able to go live on Facebook anymore. That's fun. Yeah, I know it's been a while. I'll get that stuff up when I get it up. I'm trying to not focus too much on catching up on things and just focusing on what's currently happening. So don't expect to see those videos if they haven't happened, because I've spent way too much time trying to catch up on things in this channel and then falling further behind as a result. But that's a whole other different discussion. We're not here to talk about that. We're here to talk about the Big Brother 27 cast. Oh, one other thing I do want to quickly talk about. The live feeds. So allegedly, we are getting the 24-hour feeds back this season. There was a couple moments yesterday where they were testing it out, and it seemed like that's what was happening, that they're actually bringing back the 24, you're able to go back 24 hours and things like that. I hope that's the case, because you guys know I ranted about that last season. It's a small thing, but it definitely changes things quite drastically when you're not able to actually watch back certain things that play out, especially if something really bad happens and you're not able to see the full extent of it. Just not really a great scenario at all. But the other thing that I do want to quickly rant about is the fact that, unfortunately, they're not going to actually show us the feeds until Sunday, which I think is a really dumb decision, because, in years past, it used to be that they would move in the week before, and the first week of the game would be 2 weeks long. And so we would go into the season where we'd have an HOH, but they still would not have played in the veto because the week was so long. They did not do the veto until the feeds went up. This is actually, I think, worse than what they did before, because now you're running into now you're running into a scenario where we're going to have the feeds come up, and they will have already had an HOH. They will have already solidified all the bonds. They will have already had a veto. We will just be meeting them on a random Sunday when they're probably sitting around eating dinner and not doing much of anything else, and it's going to be very unexciting. I mean, compare it to last season. Imagine last season, we get the feeds on Sunday. We would have missed the Angela blow-up, the whole blow-up that kick-started that season with her going off on that. We would have missed getting to see that on feeds. We would have had to wait until the episode showed us that. Now, there is the fact that the episodes are going to be 90 minutes this season, which I think is a very good choice. I've said before, I think it's really benefited Survivor. I think Big Brother should take a page out of that book and try to do something similar, but it does not change the fact that I don't know if this is the correct decision. I don't know if this is something that they need to be doing. So, yeah, that's kind of where I'm at. I think ultimately, Big Brother, excited for it to come back. We'll get into this cast. I'm going to probably go through the videos, because they actually did it differently this season, where you can actually watch the videos individually as opposed to last time when they're all together and things like that. I don't really like the way that it's done. So I much prefer the way it's done here, because it's much easier for me to watch the videos and talk through everything and give you my first impressions on things. So this is me just going in pretty raw. I've only seen a little bit from some people. I haven't watched the full videos. So I'm going to go through each and every one, kind of give you my first impressions of everyone and kind of just go down the list that way. There might be some points where I'm not talking here because I'm trying to react to the video, but we're going to go ahead and just pull it up right now. We're going to get started. Sharing my screen, pulling up Parade. So yeah, here we go. So we got the house guests are here, meet the full cast of Big Brother 27. The first person we're meeting is Adrian. I've already watched a little bit of his intro because I was planning to take notes, but then I thought, why don't I just do this on stream? So we're just going to go ahead and do it that way. I think it's, oh, you can't even see it. Okay, there we go. That's, okay. Where's the full screen layout? Why can't you see me? I'm trying to do it to where you can see me and the screen at the same time. Unfortunately, it's not allowing me to do that. All right, hold on. Media presentation. Okay, how do you... Sorry, they've like changed StreamYard a lot, and I don't know what I'm doing. I should know what I'm doing by now because I've done this for years. But it's not working the way that I was hoping that it would work. Okay, so, oh, there we go. No, this is not what I want. This is not the background that I want. Okay, media presentation. Let's see. There we go. Okay, that's what I wanted to happen. I was struggling to get me and the screen there at the same time, but we're going to go ahead and get started. This first person that we're talking about is Adrian Rocha. Let's go ahead and watch this video.
Hey everybody, Mike Bloom here. Just wanted to give a quick disclaimer before we get into the interviews proper. In the effort of full disclosure, for those of you
Also,
who
hi,
do
Fernando.
not know, the typical preseason process for a Big Brother season is that along with the cast and the bios, CBS will usually send us individual interviews with each house guest in the diary room. These interviews are conducted entirely by production. They're the ones who come up with the questions and subsequently ask the questions to the house guests. And then what I tend to do specifically is just to, liven it up a little bit, make it seem like more of a back and forth. I try to approximate to the best of my ability the questions that were asked to the house guests and edit myself in asking them. I cannot make this clear enough. I did not ask these questions specifically to the house guests. These are part of interviews that were distributed to all of the press that I just wanted to, make look like a little bit of a back and forth as we get to know the newest group of players to enter this months-long experience. Hope that all makes sense and enjoy the interviews.
All right, here we go. Adrian Rocha.
To start, tell us a little bit about yourself. Give us your name, where you're from, and what you do.
Okay. Hi, my name is Adrian. I'm 23. I'm from San Antonio, Texas, and I'm a carpenter.
Okay.
What's your reaction to getting to play Big Brother?
I don't think words can describe how excited I am to be here in the Big Brother house.
Jesus Christ.
Honestly, because in my head, I am the greatest Big Brother player this world has yet to see. I'm ready to prove it, okay? I freaking slept on the floor. Right. I did every single possible. I've trained for comps. I slept on the floor. I made my own slop. I've been training. I've been reading so many psychology books. I've trained to beat this game in all three aspects: the social, the strategic, and the physical. I'm here to play the game and win Big Brother. I'm here to win the money for my family, but also to become the greatest of all time. Like that's my personal thing. Like I don't think I've ever seen anyone analyze the game like I have. And I'm
sure they have
myself after I win, play Big Brother, because I think that's the best part for me. I get to watch back and see greatness,
Why will you win Big Brother?
I'm gonna win Big Brother because there's no one better than me, socially, strategically, and physically.
Sure,
there's no one that can
look at it that way.
Dude, why wouldn't I be the one to win Big Brother? There's not like I said, there's not a single aspect that I haven't trained for. This game is made up of 3 things: the social, the social, the strategical, and the physical.
Correct.
When it comes to the physical, I train to win any single comp
games are,
that has been seen and unseen. Right? I built my own wall comp. I did balance beams. I studied the giant dice game. I studied the stacking game. I studied every single possible Big Brother competition there is to know, and I train for anything else. I train my balance. I train for endurance, right? And when it comes to social, like I said, I've studied almost every social psychology book you could think of. I know what it takes to get someone to like you. It's not about how much you have in common with someone, it's how much you can make them think you have in common with them, right? So and then the strategic, because the way I like to define strategic, right? The social is who you have influence over, right? And strategic is how you use that influence, right? So the first stage, the early game, because the game is made up of 3 segments, right? Yes. The early, the mid, and the end game. The early game, the social game is the most important part. You have to build up these relationships because you can't be strategical in the first session, right? Mm-hmm. Because you can't use that influence if you haven't built that influence, right?
Right.
Do you plan on keeping any secrets about yourself from the other house guests?
I live and breathe Big Brother. I won't tell them I make my own slop. I won't tell them I slept on the floor to train for the have-not room. I won't tell them I built my own balance beam comps, my own wall comp, like the most iconic comp in Big Brother, the wall comp. No. Yeah, I built that. I have that in my backyard. I call it, I do it every Wednesday. It's called wall comp Wednesdays, you know?
What's your fan level with Big Brother?
Dude, oh my Lord. There is nobody more. I don't even like saying super fan. I'm like the biggest. I am the best fan. I am the like super genius. I don't even know what I freaking said. Like I'm like a social assassin, a freaking like strategic mastermind here. Yes, I'm a super fan of Big Brother. There is no one more qualified to play this game than me, bro. I studied the physical. I studied the social. I studied the freaking strategical. Man, there is no one that could there's no one that could beat me in comps. There's no one that can out-socialize me. And there's no one that can out-strategize me. And if you don't believe it, just watch. You'll see it in time.
How will you crush your enemies?
How would I crush my enemies? It depends because, like I said, like the way I break it down is just 3 stages: early, mid, and end. And in the early stages, you want to get rid of people. The earliest from the first 16 to the final 11 or 6, or final 11 or 6. Final 11 or 9. And you want to get those people that like you can't find similarities with, you don't have a bond with, right? People that you just can't see working long term or like you can't use, right? Mid game, you want to take out the comp beast. You want to take them out at jury, but right before final 6, because final 6 every person could play the veto, right? So you could guarantee your safety all the way to the end if you could get out all the comp beast, all the people you can't beat before final 6, and plus in the mid game, if you get the comp beasts out in jury, this is so underestimated. Comp beasts tend to favor a good game, right? So when you have the jury full of comp beasts that you taken out yourself, and you strategically explain to them
we'll get
how you strategically kick them out of the house. I mean, they're gonna respect your game more than someone that may be bitter or not. I mean, it just depends who you are, but I mean, most likely I'll do it with a smile so that you love me at the end, you know.
What makes Big Brother such a successful show after 25 years?
Honestly, the reason why I love Big Brother, and I think why the fans love coming in, is because the drama, the strategic play. Yeah, honestly, we sometimes in Big Brother we have pretty faces, but to be fair, you can get that anywhere. This is not The Bachelor. This isn't Love Island. This isn't other TV shows. Okay, this is Big Brother.
Much to some people's chagrin, no, it's not.
Strategic manipulation. This is social influencing. You gotta not only have to figure your way out through this social landscape, but you have to also survive for your survival. You have to vote other people out. You have to sometimes betray your own friend, maybe even your own alliance to get to the end, you know? So I think what makes Big Brother is the social dynamic. Like I said, finding your way through the social landscape, competing to the physical comps, you know, being strategic with who you get rid of, who you keep by your side, knowing that they could be a wolf in sheep's clothing. You know, I think that alone separates Big Brother from any other show, is that it combines the physical, the strategical, and the social. Like, what other game's gonna have that, you know?
What's your strategy going into the game?
Bro's got like a million strategies. What do you mean?
First, we gotta focus on the early game. The early game is all about social, building those connections, being social with everybody, because the second stage is strategic. At the end is physical. I mean, I want to win the first HOH to start establishing alliances, to make alliances, create alliances, choose from a position of power. But it depends, because if I could get away with it, I would strategically throw the first HOH if I feel safe with the final 2 people standing there, because if I'm willing to be the third person out, as long as I trust the final 2 that are still hanging on, still hanging on or still competing for the HOH. But if not, if it's somebody that I don't think I could get along with, I'm gonna have to gun for the HOH.
Well, yeah. What are your biggest strengths?
Go for the first
HOH. I grew up pretty weird as a kid, so I didn't really know how to socialize. But as I got older, I learned how to get along with everybody, the nerds, the jocks, we're all weirdos. We play young or old. Today as a carpenter, I work with a lot of older ladies and single moms. But I mean, I learned how to get along with sometimes it's older gentlemen as well, people that just need help. But other than just getting along with personalities, I think one of the things is I really do care a lot about people and who they are. And I think I'm a great listener and observer, and I think I really make people feel seen and heard.
What are your biggest weaknesses?
I learned in life that honesty is always the best thing. So I think when it comes to my weaknesses would probably be 2 things: being honest, even if it's brutal, farting, or just caring about people too much, because I think I might have a difficult time.
Oh yeah, it's always tough.
I know one of my rules is to play logically, not emotionally, but I really do care about the people I meet. And even though it's a competition and I'm gonna have to evict everybody, it's still gonna hurt. I don't want if my ride or die, if I'm with my ride or die and I know I have to win, right? If I know that his competition is his game is just too good of a chance to take to the end, I'm gonna have a hard time cutting them loose or hurt them.
But you gotta cut them in order to win.
I feel I have to do it because it's part of my rules. You gotta think logically, not emotionally. But I mean, I think I'll be able to handle it when the situation arises. But I don't know. I feel my weaknesses are my strengths in a way, because honesty, you can't go wrong with honesty, right? I mean, I know I'm in Big Brother house, but I mean, if there's one person to win, it's the greatest player of all time.
Before.
I want to say, honestly, I'm a bit weird. There's a lot of things you don't know about me. I like picking up things with my feet. I love playing with toys. I mean, people don't play with toys enough. And I don't know, there's a lot of things that you're just going to have to find out as the show goes on. But I think the thing I want to bring the most is a strategic game. I've never seen anyone break down the game like I have. And as the game goes on, once I meet these people, I can better strategize.
The more I'm okay, I kind of get what you mean, but this is still
me to do my crazy. And I've really excited to see myself really kill this game better than anyone has before, better than Dan Giesling, better than Derek.
Okay, now you're overselling yourself.
Better than any of the greats you could think of. I believe that I could outbeat them in any day.
Stop. No. Okay, where do I start? Where do I start with this guy? Okay, so I want to go through some of the comments I got here. I want to start with 8 Loves. I like Adrian's enthusiasm and commitment. Also cool to see a new generation of super fans. Nervous he will be. Yeah, exactly. So I think the interesting thing to talk about with Adrian is that there are definitely obvious comparisons here. 8 Loves brings up Matt and Tucker. I definitely can see both of those. When he started, I was like, oh, this is the Matt of the season. He just needs to find his Angela. He's talking this big game about how I'm this amazing strategist. I'm social game. Game's over, bro. I'm going to win the whole thing. You got nothing else to worry about. The other 15 of you that are here, you don't even need to, play the game because I'm already going to win. That kind of attitude, I can't fucking stand. That's usually grounds for you are just begging to be, in early boots in that way. But the thing I will give him is that there are things that he claims that he's done that I have not seen other house guests do before. The fact that he is straight up saying that, he has analyzed this game as far as to have an actual wall comp in his house and do wall Wednesdays and things like that. I mean, this guy it's like Carson and Survivor 44, where he's going so far beyond what you typically see in a super fan that you kind of just have to respect it. And that's the one thing I will give Adrian, is that he is going in and he absolutely knows what he's getting himself into. But the thing is, there's a big difference between watching the game and preparing for the game and actually playing the game. And my worry is that he's going to go in and he's going to have this like very like cocky attitude that everything's just going to go his way. He knows all the ins and outs. He knows everything he's getting himself into. And the problem is when you play Big Brother like that, that's when you start to not be able to see what's in front of you. And I feel like that's really going to put him at a disservice. So I generally don't know how he's going to do. I think the thing that did kind of win me over is when he talked about like, you know, the things that you need to do. He talked about how if he has an ally that he's grown close to, he knows that he's got to play with logic instead of emotion, and that you can't just take that person to the end just because you've gotten close to them. You need to pick the person that, you know, you think you have the best chances of beating, or the person that like you think you have the best chance of, you know, pleading your case against. That's what you need to do. And I think he made a good point there. He brings up the fact that like, he's not sure if he wants to win the first HOH, but if he feels like he's at a point where he needs to, he will. So I'm so back and forth with him. Like, he has the right energy. I just don't know if his confidence is correct. Because if we're talking about, like, on a scale of 1 to 10, how confident he is, this guy's at, like, a 14.5 in terms of confidence. I wouldn't even say 10. It's like a 14.5. He is just the most, like, assured that he is going to win the game. He is already so set on, I am going to win this game. No one else can do it. And, you know, I think that's a good mentality to have. Like, you should go in wanting to win, but you can't have this mentality like everything's just going to go your way. So I really don't know how he's going to do. For all we know, this guy could come in, have this big personality, and then come into the game and he's like super chill and he's like very UTR and really surprises us. We've seen that happen before when it comes to some of these bios. They play very differently than we expect them to. I just don't know what we're going to get from this guy. I really don't know. Is he going to have this big personality just in the diary rooms, and then in the actual game, he's going to be a little bit more quieter and reserved? Or is that big personality going to shine through, and is that going to put a major target on his back? I can see this being a guy who goes on like a comp run as well, if he's like super confident on what he's going to do. I just really don't know how things are going to play out for Adrian. He's a big question mark for me right now. Yeah, I think that's the other. Yeah, exactly, Jazzy. Like, I think there's a very good chance that he just tends to overthink. And I think that's really going to hurt him as well, especially if like he has all these different like alliances and all these different like pockets of people, but like he's so confident that he's so good with all of them. He doesn't put the time in. He doesn't put in the energy he needs to with them. That could absolutely fuck him over. So again, I think like he has the right energy. He's so confident when it comes to playing this game. I just feel like he's going in a little too confident, and I feel like he doesn't really know what he's fully getting himself into, because again, he knows the game inside and out, but he's not actually played the game. He's prepared for comps. That's great. But actually getting to play the game and putting yourself in that environment is a totally different story. So I really don't know how things are going to play out for Adrian. He's one of those guys who like, normally, like I said, I would be sick of him. But again, the more he continued to like explain why he feels the way he does, I'm like, you may actually have a point here. Like, I get why you think this, but I just don't know if it's actually going to happen. So right now, I'm saying this guy's going to be pre-jury. I don't know how early. I mean, I thought at first when he started talking like this guy's going to be first boot, and he might. But I also could see him going pretty far. He could be like the last pre-juror. If we're doing a jury of 9 or a jury of 7, I could see him being that last person. I think he does have a similar like Tucker type trajectory on the season. I could definitely see that being the case. I can definitely see him being the type where he's like, I'm bored. I want to shake things up. You know, let's try to kick things into overdrive when nobody else wants to do that. So again, I really don't know what to do with Adrian. I really don't know what to do with him. So right now I'm putting him on pre-jury question mark. I don't know when the fuck he goes, but that's kind of where I'm at with him. So yeah, Adrian right now, someone I really wasn't feeling, but by the end, he did kind of win me over. But that doesn't necessarily mean I think he's going to do well. And also, like, I'm sorry, the fact that he thinks he's going to be better than, like, Dan and Dr. Will, like, pump the brakes a bit, my dude. Like, no, you can't go in thinking that you're going to be better than the both of them. Like, it's just not going to happen. I mean, we've had some great players in the modern era of Big Brother, but like going in saying like, I'm going to be better than those two. I'm going to make sure I'm the best Big Brother player ever. Like, again, I like the confidence, but I really think you are just really, I think you really are just overdoing yourself in that way. I can see this too. I can definitely see him being a Jose where like he thinks he's like running the game and he's not. Like I think you do like touchy subjects and orgs and it's like who thinks they're running the game but they're not. I feel like Adrian could very well fit that descriptor. So that's kind of where we're at with him. But let's get to the next person. This is someone I have not seen anything of. Until then, nothing. I haven't seen anything from her until this video, so I'm excited to get into it. Hopefully it's not also 10 minutes long, or else this video is going to be 3 hours long. But also, if it is 3 hours long, are we shocked considering it's me? No, we are not. Let's go ahead and talk about Amy. Oh, 5 minutes. Okay, that's good. I will take the 5 minutes.
To start, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Okay, he's not doing the same
name,
introduction.
Where you're from, and what you do.
Okay, here we go.
I'm Amy Bingham. I'm an insurance agent from Stockton, California.
Okay.
Why did you want to compete on Big Brother?
I want to compete on Big Brother because I feel I can win. I know I can win. I feel like it's a game of strategy and connections, and I'm good at building connections with people.
See, that's what I mean. That's what I mean.
What's
that's
your
what I mean
strategy going into the game?
I'm hoping to play the game and by having women's backs. Like I really,
okay,
really,
yes,
really,
okay.
I want us women to stick together and really get those boys out. I really do. I think that would be it hasn't ever been done successfully. And I feel like it needs to be done. 27 seasons. Let's go. Come on, girls. Let's get it together and play together.
Almost worked last
powerful
season.
Together. Let's
Almost worked last
do this
season.
and get the boys out.
What makes Big Brother such a successful show after 25 years?
Exactly, Jazzy. You get it.
Big Brother has been such a success because people like to watch what people do. Are they going to backstab their best friend? What are they going to do to get that money? Who are they going to have to lie to get someone out?
Right.
I am ready to play. I'm so excited. Whoever I need to blindside, I'm ready to do it.
Okay.
Why will you win Big Brother?
I'm going to win Big Brother because I'm going to make smart moves. I'm going to have a girls' alliance. Hopefully we get good girls in the house that are able to do a girls' alliance.
Yes.
And people are going to love me.
What are your biggest strengths?
My strengths, I can read people. I can read what they say. I can read especially what they don't say.
Interesting.
So my social game is going to be my biggest strength in the house.
All right.
What are your biggest weaknesses?
My son said my biggest weakness is telling the wrong person the wrong thing.
Oh,
so
okay. That's kind of counterproductive to what you said before. But
that if I let my guard down and I like spill the beans and tell someone something I probably shouldn't,
that's not great.
I have to be very careful of that.
Yeah, that could be a big problem. Big problem.
Would you be open for a showmance?
I'd be so down for a showmance if the right showmance partner was in the house.
Okay.
But my son said no. He's like, Mom, no showmances. Like, don't do it.
Most of the time, that's not a good idea.
I don't know. I don't know if I'll listen.
Kind of puts you in a
maybe I will. Maybe I won't.
Will you be more of a hero or a villain in the house?
I am a lover. I'm a girl's girl. And I feel
Big Brother
like
24 ruined that term forever.
People are upset or crying. Like, I don't like people hurting. So I will try to be there for them if they need someone to talk to or some advice. So I feel like I'll probably be more of a hero.
What will be your approach to the competitions?
Comps? Oh gosh, I'm a little afraid of comps, but I'm going to try to do my best.
Okay.
Hopefully they don't crush me in these comps. I'm going to try.
Yeah.
I've been working out, but we'll see. I don't know. I just have to see. Some of these comps I'm a little worried about.
What will be your secret weapon?
Might be fine.
My secret weapon is my personality. I think most people are going to love me. Most people will like me, at least. If they don't love me, they'll like me.
Yes.
I think that's going to be my secret weapon for sure.
Tell us a little bit about your life in the outside world and how that has prepared you for Big Brother.
On the outside of the house, I'm such a woman's woman, like girls, all about the girls, women empowerment. Like I'm there for my girls. I'm a ride or die for my girls, and I'm going to be the same on the house. I can't wait to have like a women's alliance in the house.
What's your reaction to getting to play Big Brother?
It feels so exciting. Oh my God. It feels like a dream come true being a house guest. I won't be afraid to make big moves if I need to. I have made big moves in my personal life. I will make big moves in the Big Brother house. I will blindside anyone if needed. I won't be afraid to do big moves. I won't be afraid of it.
What are some standout moments for you from the past 25 years of Big Brother?
The standout moments are when Mackenzie gave Chelsea the win last season. It's kind of crazy.
Yes.
That for me, I was
yes,
like, oh
exactly. Exactly.
Totally could have won the game if she brought Cam because she would have won. And
yes.
She didn't. So for me, I'm like, oh my gosh, that is such a bad move. Like that was terrible.
Agreed.
To make
Agreed.
At that point in time.
What was horrible. The easiest and hardest parts of being a house guest?
Sorry,
we got tissues here for when I'm crying in here and I miss my babies. Oh my God, the hardest part. I'm going to miss my babies so much. I told them I'm going to talk to them all the time on the live feed. So just watch the live feeds all the time because I will literally be talking to them all the time. My 3 Ps, my angels.
Okay, I right off the bat, I like her. I like her a lot. I think there's definitely a lot of things to definitely get excited at. I mean, the obvious one is the fact that she wants to work with women. She's very adamant about wanting to put together a all women's alliance. And, you know, we almost had one last season. There were multiple points where the women were like congregating in the same room and they were trying to make something happen. And there were just like 2 people pushing back against it because they wanted to go in a different direction. Or also they just couldn't work together. But, you know, I think that she has the right mindset where it's like, hey, if there's a group of women that we can do this, let's absolutely try to make this happen. Now, we see every season that someone tries to make it happen and it usually doesn't happen. Is this going to be the cast to do it? I don't know. I haven't seen the other women. We will get to that when we, you know, once we get there, I will see if that's actually a possibility. But the thing I do think with her is that she seems very driven. She seems like somebody that I think is going to connect with a lot of people. I can see her being somebody that, like, you know, I like Amy a lot. I have her in my corner. She has all these like side deals with people. I think pre-jury, she's going to do great. I think she's going to be like a big early threat to win. The part that concerns me, you know, there's also the fact, like she said, that like she's able to have this ability to like, you know, read people and kind of like see, you know, what they're thinking in the moment. But the concern that I have is that she also talks about how she has this flaw of revealing too much information and telling the wrong person the wrong thing. And my worry for her is that she's going to make a pretty decent run. And then somewhere late in the jury phase, she's going to spill too much information to somebody. And it's going to be someone who's in kind of a power position and she's not going to realize that person's in a power position, and she's going to get cut at like 8 as a result of that. So I don't think she's going to win. If she's able to dial that back, that will help her. But it does seem like this is a skill set that like this is a problem that like she knows she has. And I think that's good. But a lot of the time, that's something you're not able to let go of, especially when you're in Big Brother. A lot of the time we see people's biggest flaws are amplified. They don't realize it's as bad as it is until they're in the Big Brother house. And what I worry about with Amy is that it's just going to naturally happen. She's going to, like I said, she's going to do a good job at the start. And then she's going to get a little too comfortable with somebody and she's going to spill too much information. And that's just going to be it for her. So like, Jazzy, your assessment, that's exactly how I see her. Like straight up, I think that's like the perfect way to describe her. I think she has a lot of potential. There's just a couple things I'm a little bit concerned about. And it's also like, can she find the right group of people to get together? And if she can't, I do think that she's someone that's willing to pivot. I do think that Amy is somebody that seems fairly adaptable. That does seem like she is someone that's able to scoop up people that she needs. Again, it's just, is she able to maintain that throughout the entire game? I'm really not sure. I do believe she's the oldest house guest on the cast. I could be wrong about that. But again, I think that she definitely has a lot of potential. I like a lot of the things that she is saying. It's just, is she able to actually put those things, you know, into place? Is she actually able to implement those things in a way that benefits her? If she's able to do all of that, I think she's going to get decently far, but we'll really just have to see. So that's kind of where I'm at with Amy. feeling pretty good about her, but there's definitely a couple things to be concerned about. We're going to move on to, the first person who was revealed in that 20-second, yes, down with women, exactly. The first person that was revealed in that like 20-second, one of the first people that were revealed in that like 20-second thing they posted on Sunday. Some people thought her name was Marin. Her name is Ashley Hollis, and let's just get into her video. 11 minutes, Jesus Christ. Yeah, this is going to be long. My God.
What's your reaction to getting to play Big Brother?
Oh my gosh, it feels amazing. I am so excited. When I got the call, I was like, no way. I am so excited to be here. Like I said, I've been watching this game for many, many years. And so it feels surreal to be in the diary room, spilling tea with you. I'm so over the moon to be here. It's an amazing opportunity, and I feel truly blessed. And I'm ready to get my hands dirty.
Yeah. Okay.
Why did you want to compete on Big Brother?
I want to compete on Big Brother because I have been watching this game since I was a little girl. I am ready to get the blood on my hands and take these people out one by one, baby.
Okay. Why will you win Big Brother?
I will be the one to win Big Brother because I think people won't see me coming. I think they see that I'm this like fashionable, cutesy kind of girl, but it's like, no, I'm a competitor. I was born to be a competitor. I, grew up doing pageants and competing in modeling. And track. And so I've always been a competitor, and I want to be the best at everything I do.
For her.
Not only for myself, but also I'm trying to knock the competition over. And so I think people won't know that I'm this really strategic person, that I have a law degree from one of the top 14 law schools in the country, and they won't see me coming. They won't see the strategy coming, and I love that.
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about your life in the outside world and how that has prepared you for Big Brother.
So a little bit about myself. I have a background in pageantry and modeling and performing. I grew up in the arts, but I'm also a competitor in the sense of athleticism. I, was on the competitive dance team. I ran track. I am an active Pilates member. So I think I definitely have that side of me. And I definitely grew up trying to be the best at everything. I mean, my parents always prioritize education just because of their background. I grew up from a two-parent household where they didn't really grow up with a lot of money, and education was really that pillar for them to get success and to see success, and they're first generation college students. And so I think I've always carried this weight to like be the best at everything I do and excel in everything I do. And so I did. I took the hard classes in high school. I took honors. I graduated with honors. Nice. And then I went on to Loyola Marymount University, where I graduated magna cum laude out of the business school. And then, of course, now I'm an attorney, and I graduated from Georgetown Law, which is the top 14 law school in the nation. So I think I've had all of these pillars of education, and I am a secret nerd. And I think it's really led me to where I am. I'm very meticulous.
I love that people are just like embracing the fact that they're nerds. Like, yes, let's go,
beneficial in the game, because I am someone who, is always trying to pursue to not only be my best, but beat out the competition.
What are your biggest strengths?
I think my strengths are that I am really strategic because I'm an attorney. So I call myself a strategy assassin because I know how to see a set of facts, take it, spin it in my favor, and spit it back out so that that person believes that what I'm saying is the only way and the only truth. And so I think that's going to be a huge strength in the game, because I'm really going to be able to flip what people say to get my benefit out of what I want them to say and what I want them to think out of whatever it is. And I
Oh shit, liquidated. What's up?
My strengths will just be my social game. I'm very outgoing. I'm very bubbly. I'm very warm. People, get close to me really fast. And I think I'm going to use that, unfortunately, against them in the game. I'm going to get close, keep your friends close, but your enemies closer. And I will be, ready to stab someone in the back when it's time. And I'll be able to do that so seamlessly just because of my social game and making these emotional connections with other house guests.
What's your strategy going into the game?
So my strategy going into the Big Brother house is definitely to rely on my social game. I'm not going to be the one to win competitions in the beginning. I'm only going to win when I have to win. And I think that is also part of my strategy, because I want to come off like I'm just this little lackadaisy little girly girl, not a competitor, not a threat, but really it's all up in here. I am a mental threat, baby. And I think they're not going to see that coming. And so I think, I'm going to come in and build my social capital from day one. I'm going to be clocking who's talking to who's flirting with who. Even if it's me flirting, I'm clocking that too. Because there can only be one showmance if there is one, and it would be mine, because otherwise the showmance has got to go.
Yeah.
You know, 2 people voting together, that's not good for my game.
Exactly.
So
Yes, that's why showmances are bad.
Talking to who? I'm going to be someone who is very paying attention and connecting with everyone, even if I don't like them, because I am going to keep my friends close, but my enemies closer. And I'm going to rely on that, building social capital in the house. And then towards the end, I'm going to ramp it up and win competitions.
What are your biggest weaknesses?
Great strategy.
I think my weaknesses are empathy. I really empathize with people, and I feel very close to people really fast. Sometimes I don't reveal too much, but I do feel, you know, emotional connections if it's there fast. And so I think that'll be my weakness in the game, because you really have to be strategic about when to let people go.
So
you can't be a wagon carrying everyone along. And so I think I'm going to have to like cut that emotional side off of me and be able to just be like, okay, it's time for you to go, and I got to send you packing because I'm trying to get this $750,000. Okay.
Do you plan on keeping any secrets about yourself from the other house guests?
Okay.
Oh, for sure. I'm never going to reveal that I'm an attorney. I'm going to come in saying that I
work
in social media marketing in New
Always
York. So I am going to be
if you're at the
truthful about where I live, but I'm definitely not revealing that I'm an attorney, because people will be like, she's smart, we got to get her out. And I'm here to stay, baby.
How will you crush your enemies?
I think I'll crush my enemies by being very close to them. I think they're going to think that I'm an ally, but really I'm their enemy. And so they're not going to see me coming, like I said before. And I'll send someone out the back door if I have to.
Exactly.
What are you bringing to the show that nobody has seen before?
I think what I'll bring to the show that you've never seen before is someone who's super in touch with their emotions. I'm someone that's not going to react immediately. I'm going to really hold my cards close to my chest. And I feel like a lot of the other house guests in the past, they're like a damn leaky Chipotle burrito, okay? They are leaking information left and right. And I'm going to be the type to keep information in until it reaches my benefit to share it or spread it.
What makes Big Brother such a successful show after 25 years?
I think Big Brother is such a success because it brings together a group of authentic people. I think every season, that's something that we can say, whether you love them or you hate them, is that it seems like everyone's really their authentic selves. And I think they pick people that are
most of the time, unless they're there to promote their brands. Yes, but I think we're past that.
Whether it's the underdog, whether it's the pageant girl, the athlete, you know, the mathlete, the gleeks. I think there's someone for everyone to root for. And I think people in America love to see that representation. Also the diversity. I think that is amazing and is something that Big Brother and CBS do so well, so that again people can see a representation of themselves. And also Big Brother is just fun and exciting. The gameplay, the competitions, all of it. I think everything together just has this perfect blend of entertainment.
She did say the Glee.
Why will you be the player to watch this season?
I think I'll be the one to watch this summer because I'm really goofy and funny. I definitely have my funny, sassy side. Okay, I am going to bring that side of me. But I think also just I think I'm going to be a really strategic player, like I said before. So I think people will love to see the strategy behind my thought process and the behind the scenes, because that my other house guests won't see, to how I build my social capital in the game.
Would you be open for a showmance?
It just depends. What do the Big Brother gods send me on the premiere day? If they send me someone who's tall, handsome, nice smile, and charismatic, I think I might be in trouble, because I definitely am a flirt and a lover girl.
Will you be more of a hero or a villain in the house?
I think I could be both a hero and a villain. I think I'm really sweet and I'm really bubbly and I'm just a nice person in general. So in that instance, I'll be a hero. And I'm also gonna be someone like what happened during Taylor season would not go down with me. I'm someone to stick up against the bullies, and I'm someone to speak my piece. You know, my ancestors fought for me to have a voice, so I'm going to have a voice when it matters. But I think that could also translate to being a villain, because I'm outspoken and I'm gonna say what I need to say when I want to say it.
What will be your secret weapon in the house?
Secret weapon.
I think my secret weapon is my brain. This brain is very expensive. Georgetown was $250,000. So I think I'm definitely, like I said, I see the game. I can see on the forefront, you know, what's happening, not only just now, but also thinking 10 steps ahead always. And so I think I won't just be looking at what's in front of me, but also, you know, how each vote is going to impact my future in the game. And so, yeah, I think my mental strength is my biggest strength.
Yeah.
What's your fan level with Big Brother?
I would say I'm definitely a big fan of the show. I have been watching since I was a little girl. I remember Big Brother when it was giving Big Brother After Dark. If you know, you know. And so yeah, I'm
that
a
was
big
the
fan
time,
of the
yeah.
show, and I admire the game, social strategy. My favorite players are Kaser and Janelle, and Tyler, and even Andy. Which, I mean, maybe to some people that's controversial, but I thought Andy's social game
very
very
good winner.
He played
very
both
good winner.
sides of the house so much to the point where neither side even knew that he was playing them. And I think I'm gonna take little drops of each of my favorite players and bring that to the game this season.
What's on your Big Brother bucket list?
What's on my baby bucket list is definitely to just make friendships that will last a lifetime. I'm a girl's girl, but I also, some bromances here and there, and I think I'll also add to that a showmance on my BB bucket list.
Okay.
What will be the easiest and hardest parts of being a house guest?
I think the easiest part of being a house guest will definitely be like friendships. I love making new friends. I'm a friendly girl. I'd like to think that of myself. And I think the hardest thing will definitely be watching your best friends go home. I think you're living with these people every day. They become your family. And of course, it's going to be sad for people to leave, but also get out because I'm trying to win the $750,000.
Yeah.
But it will be sad.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I fucking love her. I'll say it right now. I think that she has everything you want to see in a Big Brother player. I think she embodies. She has the strategic side down very well to where like she's always, going to be paying attention to what's going on. But she also just seems like the type of person that everybody's going to connect with. Everybody's going to feel good with Ashley. Everybody's going to want her in their corner. Everyone's going to feel like she's just this very like disarming person. And I feel like they're going to reveal to her a ton of information that she can then do pretty much whatever she wants with. And I think when she talks about like people being like leaky faucets and her kind of, trying to, hold on to information until it's the right time for her to do so, I feel like that's something we don't see often in Big Brother. I mean, last season, people were revealing things to each other left and right. I don't think there was a single person who was keeping in information when they were told it. They kind of just spilled it right away. Unless, I mean, maybe Chelsea to an extent, but like even her, like there were things that like she would reveal right away that she probably shouldn't. I think Ashley's just very refreshing in that way, where like she knows what she needs to do there. But I also feel like she is somebody that people are just not going to expect being as big of a threat as she is. The fact that she's very good physically, I think if she really comes in and tries to downplay that, I think that's going to be really good for her, because I can absolutely see her going into the game and people are going to think, oh, Ashley's just a really nice person. I really enjoy talking to her. We have really good conversations. They're not going to expect for her to be this really big strategic threat and then also win comps when she needs to. I think if she's there I almost said the MERS. It's not fucking Survivor. What the hell? The jury phase, right? If she's there in the jury phase, I think she's really going to turn that on then. I think we're going to start to see her win comps. I think we're going to start to see her more strategic prowess come through. She also talks about how she can be a hero and a villain, and I absolutely can see both sides of that. I can see her being someone who's really loyal to her people, but I can also see her being very cutthroat, but not in a way that's like overt to people, in a way that's very subtle. You tell her information and, you tell her something that she knows is not going to benefit her, and she's going to do what she needs to do, but she's going to do it in such a way to where people aren't going to realize that she's the one behind it. Everything that she says, I think is fantastic. I think she has pretty much all the skills she needs to really win the game. And I think that, really right now, like I would agree, Jazzy. I would say she's probably my winner pick. And also, yeah, I get the Taylor vibes for sure. I think her being, pageantry and things like that, that's going to be really good for her. I could see her playing the way Taylor wanted to play in her initial season. I could definitely see that for sure. She even mentions Taylor. The other person we do have to mention, this is, I'm pretty sure, a friend of Hannah Chada from Big Brother 23. And I definitely can see some resemblance. Like I can definitely see why these two would be friends. I think they do have similar personalities in that way, but I think the thing that Ashley seems to have, that, not say that Hannah didn't, but I think Ashley has a little bit more of a killer instinct, whereas Hannah did, but I feel like a lot of the times she didn't really know what to do with it, whereas I feel like Ashley does have that, and I feel like she's really going to turn it on, and I can definitely see that being used to her benefit. Let's talk about the only concern I have, the showman's thing. I think, so if I'm Ashley in this scenario, I think, you know, if she goes into a showmance here, I don't see her doing what people usually do in showmances, where like they get into a showmance and then they just lose sight of the game. I see her using that showmance to kind of build her game, manipulate that person, put her in a spot where, like, you know, she's able to get farther because she has this person on her side. Maybe she attaches herself to somebody that's winning a lot of comps and kind of uses him as like a shield. I could see her using a showmance in a way that's a little bit more strategic. So I'm not as concerned because it seems like she knows what she needs to do. It seems like she's absolutely, you know, ready for pretty much any scenario. She's, again, I think going to be a very adaptable player in that way. So yeah, definitely an early winner pick for me. I think she just has a lot of potential here. There's really no real qualms, I would say, other than the fact that, like, if she does get into a showmance, I just hope that she's able to continue being just as strategic. She's able to still, you know, remember what she's there for. And I think just if she's able to do all those things, I really do think Ashley is a huge contender to potentially win this game. So definitely an early favorite for sure. Really like what I got from her. But let's go ahead and move on to the next person because we still have like 13 people to talk about. All right, let's talk about someone who I won't lie, I have already seen a few clips of because a friend might have sent some clips to me of her, and I'm really excited to see her interview because I think that she's going to be a big personality. Let's talk about Ava.
To start, tell us a little bit about yourself.
A little shorter.
Give us your name, where you're from, and what you do.
Hi, my name is Ava Pearl. I'm 24 years old. I live in New York City, and I am an artist.
Okay.
I am an art instructor for teenagers and kids in an after-school program, and I also paint aura portraits for people in various New York City parks.
Well, yeah. Okay.
When I'm making an aura portrait of somebody, I sit them down, I draw them, and then I paint what I see around them.
Okay,
so the colors that I think best reflect them as a person.
Okay, so kind of like
those colors indicate to me who they are as a person, what they may think, how they may view the world, etc.
What's your reaction to
when you
getting
put it that
to
way,
play Big Brother?
I am so excited that I'm on Big Brother. It honestly feels surreal.
Why will you win Big Brother?
I will be the one to win Big Brother because I need the money the most. I am broke as hell, and I will do whatever it takes to win that $750,000.
Okay. What are your biggest strengths?
My strengths going into the game is the fact that I read people's auras for a living. So I literally read people as my job. And I'm ready to take that skill into the Big Brother house and read all these house guests down.
Okay.
What are your biggest weaknesses?
My weaknesses going into the game is the fact that I am an emotional artist. I was also raised by strong Long Island Italians, so my emotions get the better of me, and I am known for not taking crap.
Okay.
I've lived in New York a long time now. I was raised by extremely strong women that tell it like it is, and I'm not afraid to do the same.
Do you plan on keeping any secrets about yourself from the other house guests?
I would like to hide the fact that I know how to read people's auras in the house.
Probably a good idea.
Mainly just because, number one, I don't need them getting freaked out thinking I'm a witch. And number two, I don't need them knowing my secret weapon.
Not the witch.
What will be your secret weapon in the house?
My secret weapon is knowing exactly who they are just by my first glance at them, seeing all their amazing or horrible colors.
Would you be open for a showmance?
Hell no. No, absolutely not. There is no showmance in the cards. Number one, I have a boyfriend. Okay. Number two, all the guys I like could not pass the background check to get in here.
Yeah, I did read that.
Will you be more of a hero or a villain in the house?
I am not afraid to be the villain if I have to this season. I'm trying to go in there and win my money. If I have to be the supervillain, I gotta be the supervillain.
How will you crush your enemies?
I will crush my enemies in this house by using these go-go boots to walk all over them, okay? I am not afraid to... These boots were made for walking, and that's what they're gonna do, right to my $750,000, okay?
What are you bringing to the show that nobody has seen before?
Big Brother has never seen anybody like me. I'm a strong, Italian, proud woman from New York City
definitely
who
see
also
that,
loves to make her auras, loves to align her chakras, loves to get everything all together in a nice, cute 1960s package, okay? Y'all have never seen this before.
What's your fan level with Big Brother?
I am a huge fan of Big Brother. However, I would say the super fan of Big Brother would be my little brother, Nolan, who convinced me to even apply for all this. He has...
He's one of those people.
my gosh, he makes like, oh god, what are they called? Like
I'm not a fan, but my
leagues
sibling is.
For all the seasons and all the different players. And he convinced me to do this. And Big Brother was one of the ways I could really connect with my little brother.
Tell us a little bit about your life in the outside world and how that has prepared you for Big Brother.
So, I'm an artist living in New York City, which means competitiveness is built into my system. To get any job in New York City, to get any artistic opportunity, to hustle in the parks, you have to have the mentality to be able to keep going. And I'm ready to bring that into the Big Brother house.
Why did you want to compete on Big Brother?
I want to compete on Big Brother for the money. Yeah, I need that money. I live in New York. It ain't cheap there.
It's very much not.
What's your strategy going into the game?
My strategy going into the house is to use what the universe has given me, my ability to see auras, my ability to listen to my gut, and my ability to backstab any of the people I need to get that $750,000.
Yeah, I don't know if I put her in there
what
either.
What will be the easiest and hardest parts of being a house guest?
I would say the easiest thing about being in the Big Brother house is probably going to be the fact that I'll be chilling, relaxing by the pool rather than hustling in the streets of New York City. In here, I know everybody's trying to backstab me. Out there, they're trying to backstab me too, but they'll do it for free. I would imagine, honestly, the hardest thing for me is not seeing my family, not being able to make my aura portraits, not having, a pencil and a paper that I usually have. I'm an artist. That's how I express my feelings.
Exactly.
What makes Big Brother such a successful show after 25 years?
Big Brother is such a success, at least for me, I know in my life, because it's legendary. It gaps generations. It brings me, my aunt who loves Big Brother, that's been watching it since the first season, my little brother who just turned 18, and me, 24 years old. We all sit together and we watch Big Brother, and we love every single minute of it. It is generational, it is iconic, and it is legendary.
Yeah.
Why will you be the player to watch this season?
I will be the player to watch this summer because I am the iconic player that's going to do whatever it takes to win that money.
What are some standout moments for you from the past 25 years of Big Brother?
I would say my favorite moment, just because I experienced it, watching it on TV, is probably when Taylor won. Taylor Hale won. That was at least my favorite moment ever on Big Brother. I think she is one of the best players of all time, if not the strongest.
Fantastic. Yes. Need more. Okay, so where do we start? Where do we start with Ava? Well, I'll start with the fact that I love her. Generally love her personality. I think she just seems like such a fun character to watch. I can already see her being probably one of the funniest people in the diary room. I'm looking forward to seeing the many edits of her, the many just gifts and things of her that we get all season. I think we're going to see that constantly from her. I think Ava's going to say what no one else is, what everyone else is afraid to say, and she's not going to make any apologies for it. She's going to say whatever is on her mind every single time, and it's going to be so much fun to watch. At the same time, I think that's probably going to be her biggest downfall, because I also see her being somebody that probably gets into a lot of fights with people. I think she's going to be a very combative player. I can definitely see that from her. She straight up said that, like, she's someone who will speak her mind and things like that. And I think that's great that she does that. My concern is that she's not going to know when she needs to pull that back a bit. She's going to be at an 11 every single time. If Adrian's at a 14.5, Ava's at like an 18.7. Like that's just the level that she radiates. And that's fantastic for television viewers. I think, like I said, she's going to be one of the highlights of the season. I can definitely see her being like, probably like the big pre-jury character. I just don't think she's going to make it very far in this game. I think Ava's going to be somebody who immediately, there's going to be somebody that she just does not vibe with, and they're going to get into some kind of rivalry. And it's going to be like, some along the lines like a Jasmine and Turner, or like Victoria and Zach, or like a Tucker and Lisa. Like, it's going to be on that level, and it's going to be really funny to watch. The problem is that I think it's going to put a massive target on her back. So I really want to root for her. I love her personality. I love how outspoken she is. I love a lot of the things that she stands for. I think, the fact that she's coming into the game and she wants to, work with, you have somebody like an Amy that like wants to work with women and things like that. I think that Ava is somebody that could do that. I think all of that is really great. I think the issue that she's going to run into is the fact that, again, I think there's just going to be some people that she kind of rubs the wrong way. And I think there's going to be people that rub her the wrong way. And I think she's going to get into some fights as a result of that. And I think that's going to be a problem. And I agree. I think, personally, I would work well with Ava. Like, she's the kind of person I would try to definitely link up with. I just think there's going to be some people who are going to get annoyed with just how, again, high energy she is. I think especially when you're in that house, you want people to be a little bit more chill. And I feel like she's just not going to know when to pull that back. And I feel like that's going to be to her detriment. So I can't necessarily say I think she's going to do well, but I am rooting for her because I love everything that she said, especially like things about the showmans, things about the fact that she's there for the money. Like, she's a very refreshing person in that way, because so many people come into the game and they're like, I don't really care if I win. I kind of just want to be here to make friends. She's the complete antidote to all of that. And that's kind of what I think we're going to see. Oh, apparently, you think she's going to annoy Will. Well, we're going to get to Will in a little bit. But I agree. I think very fun character, great vibes all around. Really want to root for her. Just very hard to do so. I think that she, I think Ava's going to be the person that all season we're like, okay, this is where Ava's going to turn her game around. Okay, Ava's going to win an HOH. Okay, it's all going to work out for her. Like, she's going to win HOH. We're all going to be excited for her. And I could see her having like major HOH-itis, making these nominations that just don't go well for her. Her connecting, her having somebody right off the bat that's like a major op for her the entire season. Like, it's not looking great for her. I don't see her being somebody that goes that far. I don't think she's going super early, but I don't think she's going to make that deep of a run either. So that's kind of my thing with Ava. Love her, but she's someone that, like, I'm going to try to root. I'm going to root for all season, but that, like, I will know probably won't be doing well. I think she's kind of like the person on, Big Brother you see all season. Like, people will like delusionally root for her because they want her to do well, but they know that, like, she probably can't because she's just playing the game way too hard. She's doing way too much, and there's just no possible way that she has a chance to get to the end. And I feel like, unfortunately, that's going to be Ava. So that's kind of my assessment on her. Let's get to the next person who I lied. This is actually the oldest person this season. Let's see what Will has to offer. We've gone through a good majority of women, but now we need to watch another one of the guys, and let's see what this guy has to offer.
To start, tell us a little bit about yourself. Give us your name, where you're from, and what you do.
My name is Cliffton Williams. I am currently a podcast host talking women's college basketball. Okay. I'm originally from Charlotte,
Love the
North
podcast.
Carolina.
Love the podcast host.
What's your reaction to getting to play Big Brother?
I am so excited to be on Big Brother because this has been a one of those cherry things that are on top of the cake for so long, and I've been able to accomplish this, and just being in the house is amazing.
What are you bringing to the show that nobody has seen before?
I don't think you've ever had a contestant like Captain Will. I don't think there's been a ton of contestants that's been on Big Brother over the years and years and years, but I don't think you've ever had someone who is quite like me, who brings the energy, who brings the joy, who brings the love, who's a veteran of 22 years in the service, who got 5 kids, 9 grandkids, who loves this show and is going to bring something way different than has ever happened before.
All right.
Tell us a little bit about your life in the outside world and how that has prepared you for Big Brother.
I dare to think that there would be anybody in the house who's going to be sleeping beside me, or we chopping it up outside, has had as many life experiences that I've had. And I think those life experiences are going to help me. It might hurt me because I might be that know-it-all person, and I'm have to temper that down. But I really think that I'm prepared to be in a house with 15 other folks, trying to win this money. I don't have it's just like a gut feeling, so to speak, that I'm prepared. And although I've never been, sequestered away in a house with 15 individuals like this per se, but I think being in Iraq or being in a military school for 6 months, I think it will help a little bit. And you sit around and moan and complain about, various different situations where I've heard and seen, some of the contestants moan and complain about. I want to go home. I miss my mom. I miss my family.
Okay, so he's not going to be a
wife, my kids. But you know all that stuff.
Big upgrade, major upgrade.
Do you plan on keeping any secrets about yourself from the other house guests?
50-year-old males.
I'm not going to tell the house guests that I did 22 years in the Army. That is not going to happen. No way, shape, or form. I'm not walking in on day one with a target on my back, because people are going to insinuate, people are going to make up whatever the case, agendas that they have and fill in the gaps. I'm going to walk in the house as a regular guy who got a podcast talking women's basketball.
Why will you win Big Brother?
I think that my time in the military, the 22 years in the service, and my ability to be able to manipulate and adapt and pivot from various different situations is going to help me win Big Brother, honestly. And then I'll be the oldest one who has ever won Big Brother. I know the stats. I just turned 50, and I'll be the oldest one to win the show.
That's true. No one over.
How will you crush your enemies?
Well, we won Angela one last season. Well, I'm
going to crush my enemies because, number one, I know when I walk into the house, I'll probably be the oldest one there. So everything they've done, I've done it 2 or 3 times. So I'm going to utilize the knowledge, the expertise, the wisdom, because the gray hair is not just a prop. It's like real. So the gray hair shows that I've been there a little while. I'm going to use everything that they think they know. I'm going to use it against them.
See, now I'm wondering who's used gray hair as a prop.
Master, I'm
that's really funny.
I can't wait for it. I can't wait. There's been a lot of old people who came to the show, but you got a lot of old people who act old.
Not as many as you
50.
think.
I turned 50 about a month ago. And I'm not old, you know what I'm saying? So, but I know I'm going to go into the show. We're going to have 21, 22, 25-year-olds who are in the show. I'm going to be that cool old dude that everybody wants to hang out with.
And then watch him. There's going to be like a 60-year-old woman that I haven't chop it up.
I'm going to be that cool old dude that you want to sit around on the couch or sit outside, playing some pool and learn from the table of Captain Will. That's what I'm going to bring that's different. You have a lot of cats who are older who want to stay off to themselves, or want to be the mom, or be the dad, or be the whatever. I'm not trying to be that dude. I'm trying to be the coolest cat in the room, and I want them to follow me.
Oh, what are your biggest strengths?
Work, but go for it.
Ability to build relationships. That's number one. I'm a relationship builder. I'm a team builder. I love to talk, as you can probably see. I'm just able to fit into whatever situation that would benefit me the most in this game. I understand it's a game. This is a game. I'm not taking anything personal. The object of the game is to win the $750,000. I'm gonna do whatever it takes to win that money and be holding that check at the end, and for Julie to be calling my name.
What's your strategy going into the game?
My strengths going into the game is my ability to pivot, to my ability to react to whatever happens. I know this is expecting unexpected, but bring it. I'm down for the unexpected because I can change, I can morph, I can do whatever it takes for me to win that money.
What are your biggest weaknesses?
I don't have any weaknesses. Is that being blunt? I don't think I have any weaknesses, which might be a weakness.
I
probably a weakness of mine. I don't think I have
any
any weaknesses. So you can use the age thing, but I don't give a damn about the age. That doesn't mean anything to me, you know.
But
what makes Big Brother such a successful show after 25 years?
I think the social experience of putting, 16 different personalities into a room, into a house, and just watching it marinate and bake is so cool. I think it's much different than some of these other reality TV shows because it's 24/7 and you got so many different microphones and so many different angles. So it's not like, okay, cut and then move on like that. I think you're seeing as it happened. You're seeing as the sausage being made. I think it's real cool. And then the variety of the cast and the issues that develop once you're in a house in an incubator for so long, happens, and we just watch it and we laugh.
What will be your approach to the competitions?
I want to win. I'm a winner, so I want to win. I want to get off the couch and do what I've been talking about for a long time. In regards to the competitions, or regards to the relationships, because we can always be that armchair quarterback.
Oh my God, we still got a lot of time
left. What
left.
I can do, what I won't do. I won this immunity, or I won this advantage, and I'm not going to tell nobody. And the first thing you do, you tell somebody. I want to utilize all the stuff that I've been saying for years and years and years in live and in color for everybody to judge and see. And I think I'm going to do well with that.
What's your strategy going into the game?
My strategy is to get 4 other people on my side.
Apparently, yeah, he thinks he's on
Survivor. I'm walking into the house targeting 4 folks.
You sure you're not walking into the island?
4 folks.
You think you're on Survivor?
2 females, 2 males on my team. Captain Will's team. I talk about basketball, so I guess I'm building my own basketball team when I get into the Big Brother house. I love analytics. I love facts and figures. I love numbers. So my starting lineup, my basketball team of males and females, and I want to.
Men and
when
women.
I'm building this team, I'm looking at
females.
A person who has a perception of they can win a competition. So you need some dogs on that team. You also want somebody who's that ultimate Big Brother know-it-all, who's seen every episode backwards and forwards, who knows some of the strategy that I might not know in that realm of Big Brother because they watch every season over and over and over again. I want that type of person on my team. I want a person who is old as me. If not as old as me, pretty close to old as me.
There's one person. There's one person who will qualify for that.
Jacked up knees. So we can talk about blood pressure medication. So we can talk about things like that. So we can vibe on some level like that. I want a team that not necessarily look like me, because I want to catch people off guard. You see a 6 foot, somewhat athletic black man who served in the military. You want to look at him you look at him a certain way. But my team is going to be made up of all different flavors and colors and nationalities, and we're going to run this game. Okay. And then when it's time to cut my team, when that time does come, then it happen.
What's on your Big Brother bucket list?
I want to, Zingbot, that's a given. I want that. I want all the smoke with that. I want my kids to clown me when I get home. I want the costumes. I want a crazy costume. I want the worst. I really do. Because my wife and I, we typically dress up for Halloween.
Costumes usually are not great thing for your game, but
last time we dressed up, I think I was a pimp. So I have fun making fun of myself. So that would be cool. The OTEP, that's always nice. Oh, the one where you riding on the comic book thing.
The comic.
Oh my God, because I'm a Marvel nerd. So to see me as a comic book, oh my God, that'd be insane. You can vote me out then. That's cool.
I mean, you get it either way. Okay, so let's get into Will. Things I like. I like that he's going in and, he is willing to, form some kind of alliances. He wants to work with different kinds of people. He's not trying to close himself out in any way. I think that's all really good. I think that he is somebody that I can definitely see advancing pretty far into the game. I think, what you say here about like he's going to get into like a majority alliance of some kind, I definitely think is a possibility. I think that's more than likely what's going to happen. I think people are going to see him. They're going to vibe with him. The thing that's not going to work out for him is that he talks about how he doesn't want to be seen as like the oldest player in the game. A lot of the time, and he doesn't want to be seen as like a dad or anything like it. A lot of the time, you just kind of end up fitting into that role, and you can't really choose where you end up going. A lot of the time, like if you're an older player, you finding yourself into putting yourself into that place. So I feel like somebody like Will is going to have some difficulty with that. But I mean, I like the fact that he wants to go in that way. I think the issue that I think the main issues I see with Will right now are a couple things. One, I do think he's very much giving me that vibe of like, this is a guy who we are putting into this alliance and we trust him and he's loyal, but he doesn't really have a lot going on beyond that. He is somebody that we're going to get to like the midpoint of the game. We're going to be like, why is Will still here? What has he done? This guy hasn't made a move. This guy's kind of chilling. It seems like a nice guy, but not somebody that we're really rooting for. Hopefully, Terrence Higgins, absolutely not. I fucking hope not. That is very much not a nice person. So I hope that's not the case. I see him more as like a Cliff from like Big Brother 21. I could see that where it's like, this guy is here, he's doing stuff, but like he's not really doing much of anything. We want him to like make a move, but he's just not willing to do it because he doesn't want to go against his alliance. He really does give me that vibe. I just don't see a lot of agency from him. I don't see him being somebody that is like really willing to like play for himself. I think very early on, he's going to get in with people and he's just going to trust them and he's going to be undyingly loyal. And, that's just kind of how he's going to play the game. And I don't really see much changing up. And unfortunately, like as much as I think he will try to get away from that position, once you are in an alliance like that, unless you are willing to turn against certain people, it's just not really going to work out. I haven't seen Big Brother 11, but I do know how Casey played. I can definitely see that comparison for sure. I don't know. I don't think he's going to do bad. I think he is going to go far. I just feel like by the end of the season, he's going to be one of those people who are just like, why is he still here? And that like he's just going to be a number for someone in his alliance that's playing a significantly better game than him. So he's, I like him. I like the fact that, like I said, he's trying to do something different. But a lot of the time, unless you're like Angela and you're like really crazy and you're like really like over the top and doing all this crazy shit, most of the time, unfortunately, the older players, they usually end up in a role where they're just kind of not taken seriously and they're kind of seen as like they're just kind of being dragged to the end. And I just kind of feel like Will's going to end up in that spot. So it sucks to say. He seems like a nice guy. I think it's good that he wants to hide his military background. I just don't know if I see him doing all that well. Like I said, I think he's going to go far. I just don't think this is going to be a guy who's really playing like a very self-interested game. I think he's going to start at first, but once he gets in that alliance, I think that's going to be his focus, and he's not really going to, be able to have much to claim for himself at the end. So that's kind of where I see Will going at the moment. Probably the person that we've seen besides like Adrian that I'm the most uncertain about, or not the most uncertain about, but like probably the person I'm the least impressed by so far. So we're going to go ahead and move on to the next person here. Another person that was revealed pretty early on in the cast reveal for the thing that was released on Sunday. This is Zay. And we got somebody in the chat that allegedly is friends with someone that knows Zay. So excited to hear a little bit about that, DM Rocks. But before we get into that, has to offer. Okay, 5 minutes, not as bad. I can't do some of these like 11-minute videos. Achilles was the exception. Some of these are just too long.
My name's Zay. I'm 23. I live in Utah. And I think I have what it takes. I know I have what it takes to win Big Brother because I'm going to be the most fierce competitor out there, physically, socially, and mentally. I'm going to sweep away the competition like a janitor. I will be the one to win Big Brother because I'm the most well-rounded that's going to be in the house. I have the physical aspects. I'm going to kill in the competitions. I have the mental game on lock, and I have the social game. I know I'm gonna get along with everyone in the house. I'm gonna be able to vibe with everybody. I'm gonna be able to kind of chameleon myself and make sure that everyone likes me and I'm vibing with all the people in the house, all the other house guests. I'm gonna kill the competitions. That'll be one of my strengths physically. I'm I'm smart up here, but I'm also strong like in athletic.
What's your reaction to getting to play Big Brother?
It feels insane to be a house guest on Big Brother in season 27. It's been a long process, and it's kind of felt like it's never going to come, and now all of a sudden it's just here out of nowhere, and it feels unreal.
What will be your secret weapon in the house?
I would say my adaptability is my secret weapon, that I can fit in any situation. I can adapt, and it doesn't bother me. I'm so go with the flow that like, you know, you can throw me in any situation. I can, you know, mix and mingle over here with these people. It won't bother me.
So you're gonna bore me all season. Got it.
Make friends with these ones, and I'm gonna be chilling.
What's your strategy going into the game?
Honestly, I have zero strategy right now going to the Big Brother house, but I feel like I'm very adaptable, and I'm good at going with the flow and adapting my game set to the game. So I feel like every season is so different that if somebody prepares a rigid strategy, they're only doing themselves a disservice. And so I'm going to go in there with an open mind of my strategy. I'm going to have plenty of time to think about strategy while I'm in the game. But I'm just going to try.
And you're probably going to be in a majority alliance and like win the first HOH. So yeah, you'll have plenty of time.
Successful show after 25 years.
And I think Big Brother's been such a big success because every season is so different and exciting. Every house guest is so, you know, unique.
We hope for it to be different, but a lot of the time it's not.
So much excitement, new challenges every season, new twists. And so I think it makes it always really exciting to watch for people, you know, will watch it 25 years later. I think being in a house with 16 or 15 other people, 15 other house guests from all different walks of life is super interesting. And I'm excited to,
liquidated.
You know, learn from them, compete with them, beat them, but also, you know, like learn a lot about myself in the process.
Why will you be the player to watch this season?
Why will I be the one to watch this summer? Because I'm going to be so fun. People are not going to be able to keep their eyes off of me. They're going to be logging into the live cams and watching me, you know, I don't know, eat, plot, strategize, all the good stuff.
Would you be open for a showmance?
My intention is to not enter showmance. Honestly, I know the viewers probably will not want to hear that. My intention is to win $750,000, and I know a showmance could put that in jeopardy.
Okay, so I like that answer. I
would be very surprising if they put a girl in here that was worth sacrificing all that money for.
Will you be more of a hero or a villain in the house?
Honestly, I want to kind of play the hero role a little bit this season. Just because those juror votes really come in clutch at the end, and my intention is to go to the end, and I don't want to make too many enemies. Like, I want to play smart enough to where people respect my game, but I don't want to make so many enemies and be a villain that I don't get votes at the end, and I'm you know, play a good game, but I walk away in second place. That would kind of blow.
What will be your approach to the competitions?
I feel like I could easily make myself too much of a target, like early on. If I, you know, come out and I'm like doing a little too much, or like, you know, win a little bit too much off the bat.
Oh, you're gonna be winning. You're gonna be winning often. You know, I feel like
for me right off the rip.
Do you plan on keeping any secrets about yourself from the other house guests?
I haven't decided yet if I want to talk about the fact that I do sales. I feel like it can go either way, because I've seen people get targeted for being in sales, but I don't really think I can hold up a lie very well. Like a long term, I feel like it's gonna slip, and so part of me feels like I might just get out of the way early and just hope that they don't target me because of it. I actually haven't decided yet my strategy at all going into the house. I feel like I'm just gonna kind of go with the flow. Like when I'm in here, I'm either gonna say it or I'm not. I don't know.
How will you crush your enemies?
I'm going to crush people in multiple ways. Like, I'm going to crush them in the competitions and, you know, have power that way. But I'm also going to crush them mentally. I'm not afraid to backstab, blindside somebody when the timing's right, pull a big move in the game in order to, you know, put myself on top, kick somebody else out of the house.
I don't know. Okay, so this is what I'll say about Zay. Like, he gives that vibe of, like, this is a guy, he's going to come into the game. He is obviously going to be a big physical threat. You have the was BBAI Arena, now it's the BB Blockbuster in play. I feel like this guy is going to win quite often. He talks about how he doesn't want to put a big target on his back. And I feel like this is the guy you use to win that. You send in Zay to get out somebody else in the BB Blockbuster. And I feel like that's going to happen often. But I also think that he's probably going to be fine regardless. I see this guy going into Majority Alliance and, people are going to rock with him and he's going to go far. I just don't think I'm going to enjoy watching him all that much. He gives me that typical, I'm a bro type vibe. He's going to, try to do what he can to get all the guys together, probably be the one to try to stop any sort of women's alliances. I don't know if I love what he said about, there's not going to be a girl that's good enough for me to sacrifice my game for. I get what he's saying about the showman's thing, but I don't know if I love the way he said that. I agree. The whole sales thing, that is the least of his worries. I don't think he has to worry about that at all. I think the biggest thing he has to be concerned about is that people are going to go into the game and naturally think that he's just going to be a really big physical threat. I think he could run into the same problem that Matt did last season, where people just go in, they automatically think he's set up. I don't see him going super far, but things he does have going for him is that he does claim he's very adaptable. And I think if he's able to recognize that, I can't come off as this big physical threat, I think he honestly could be okay. I mean, Cam really benefited from that last season. The fact that he wasn't winning all these comps and things like that, people just really liked him. People thought that he was going to be this, I think a lot of people thought last season Cam was going to be a really big, physical type presence. And instead, he was a really chill guy. He was somebody who people just felt good with. He was kind of the calm. He was kind of like a calm in a sea of craziness. There were a lot of people that season that were very over the top, and he was a lot more subdued. And I think he really benefited from that. So I could definitely see that from him. I've seen people compare him to Brett. I definitely can see that comparison for sure. And I think that he could definitely be a villain of sorts. And I don't know if that's going to be a likable villain, someone we enjoy watching, or if this is going to be some guy that's take out all the women. We don't want him here. I just don't know. Something tells me I'm not going to like this guy very much. I wasn't really a big fan of what he said in this video. I think he's going to do well regardless, again, just because he has that archetype. But again, he could also end up like Matt last season, where he's targeted immediately because people think he's a really big physical threat. I do think he's probably the prime candidate to win the first HOH, but if the comps are anything like last season, then maybe he's not. And, that might be interesting to see. Can somebody like Zay do well when the comps are more equitable? That's something I'm also interested in maybe seeing, because they did change up the comps quite a bit last season. If they are still doing that, because obviously they know the BBIA Arena was a success, but do they realize that it was a big success because of how equitable those comps were? If they are anything like last season, I don't know if Zay does as well as we think he's going to. I think that could actually be very interesting. But yeah, I don't really like him. I'm not really looking forward to watching him on this season. He kind of just seems like the type of bro-y archetype that we don't really like watching on these shows. But maybe he proves me wrong. Like I said, I like the fact that he said he's adaptable. But right now, he just kind of gives me he's just a frat bro, and he's going to be there, and he's going to win all the comps, and he's going to, try to, get in with all the guys and take out all the women, and everyone's going to love him, and everyone's going to be eating out of the palm of his hand. And I'm not excited to watch it. So yeah, probably the person I'm least interested in so far. So yeah, that's kind of how I feel about Zay. Probably going to do well regardless, unless, like I said, this cast actually is one that maybe does decide to, the women does decide to work together, and they actually do try to take out the, physical threat early on like they did last season. All right, let's go ahead and talk about Jimmy. Already don't like Jimmy because he's involved in AI, but let's see if his video proves me wrong. 10 minutes again, Jesus Christ.
To start, tell us a little bit about yourself. Give us your name, where you're from, and what you do.
Hi, I'm Jimmy. I'm from Washington, D.C., and I'm a strategy consultant.
What's your reaction to getting to play Big Brother?
It feels incredible, all right? I've been on edge on my seat for like the last few months at this point. Well, I guess month and a half. But it's incredible. I mean, like, if you had told me a year ago today when I was celebrating the 4th of July in Idaho that I'd be now sitting in the Big Brother diary room talking to you, I would tell you, there's no way that was the case. And right. And especially like younger me, Jimmy, who was watching BB16 10 years ago, shortly after coming out and shortly after having my parents lose our house. Like, if you had told me, flash forward 10 years, the 25th anniversary of the show, I'd be sitting right here, I wouldn't have believed you. And I am so excited to be here. It's insane. And I'm ready for this summer of twists and turns. I can't wait to see what's ahead in store for us.
Why will you win Big Brother?
I'm going to win Big Brother because I have a strategy background, professionally and personally. I come from a world where manipulation and understanding who you want to get something from and when you want to get it is key. And I come into the house with a strong amount of self-awareness. I know what I need to say. I know who I need to say it to. And I know exactly what I need to do to win. I'm ready to put my chips on the board. I'm ready to show my cards. And I'm just ready to play and ready to play to win. I'm not here for the experience, okay? Some people come into the Big Brother house for the experience. Baby, I am here to win because that $750,000 check is going to have my name on it. I know I'm going to win Big Brother. First, I've been manifesting it for weeks now, all right? I've been seeing myself walk out of that, onto that stage, seeing Julie Chen. For some reason, the confetti's purple to me, so I've been seeing that, and I'm excited for everybody else to see it too. But I have the
never noticed.
I have the social game.
Okay.
And I know what it takes to win competitions and when you need to win competitions. I know how to play people, and I know how to manipulate them. But at the end of the day, I also know how to build relationships with and create friends. I know how to work a house in a group of people in a way that strategically matches the goal that I'm trying to achieve, which in this case is winning Big Brother.
That's what I'm saying.
So I'm going to lean into that social game. I'm going to play with my competition and strategy smarts. And I'm also going to make friends along the way and walk out of that house collecting a check of $750,000, all right?
Tell us a little bit about your life in the outside world and how that has prepared you for Big Brother.
Outside of the game, I'm Jimmy. I work, I play tennis, I hang out with my animals and my long-term boyfriend, Sean. And have a lot of really close and tight-knit friends. I've moved around a little bit. I went from Florida to a college where I knew nobody and built a whole network from there. And then after college, I did it all again in a whole new city, built a whole new network and a whole new group of friends. And through that process, you find a lot of confidence in yourself. You really understand who you are, what you want to put out into the world, and then what you want to get from the world too. And I think that breeds a level of insight and maturity that somebody at 25 actually has that I think is really cool. And so into the house, I bring my smarts. I bring my life experiences, and I bring this unabashed confidence and understanding of who I am and what I want to put out into the world and what I want to receive from it.
Why will you be the player to watch this season?
Listen, I'm going to be the one to watch this summer because I'm going to give y'all strategy. I'm going to give y'all gameplay. I'm going to give y'all personality, if you couldn't tell. I'm going to give y'all interesting television, all right? Because that's what we're here for. We're here to play a game, we're here to make friends, and we're here to make good TV.
What are your biggest strengths?
Yeah, I mean, going into the game, I have a strong strategic background, again, both personally and professionally, and I'm really ready to see that exercised in the house and in the game. I'm also really resilient. I think that's really important in the game as well, whether it's a competition where you're behind and have to catch up a little bit, or maybe you're thrown up on the block in back in a blind side and you really have to lean in and use last minute time to talk people into letting you stay or getting them to vote maybe a way that they didn't expect to. And I think not giving up, fighting for every point, something that I'm really used to doing, is going to serve me really well.
I think you have a point there, right, Loves? I'm 26 and I feel like I'm like,
so I know how to stick out amongst a crowd, and I know how to play that to my advantage. Know when I have to lean in and know when I have to lean out in the key moments. And I really think that's going to work to my advantage in the house.
What are your biggest weaknesses?
Gosh, I think I'm really trusting. I think that's going to be a weakness of mine. Once I really latch onto people and feel like I have a good connection, I feel like I'd be vulnerable to a blind side. So I definitely think that's a weakness I'm looking forward to, or maybe not so much. And I also think a weakness I have is maybe I won't think I need to win a competition because I don't want to show how strong or how smart I am, but maybe it was the right time to win that competition. So those are the two things I'm kind of weary about, is that I'm over trusting and maybe in a way that leads to me not winning a competition that I might need to win because I don't feel like I have to win it at the time.
Yeah.
Do you plan on keeping any secrets about yourself from the other house guests?
Absolutely. You think I'm going to walk in this house and tell everybody I have a professional strategy background?
Yeah, no.
Or that I'm from Washington, D.C., especially right now? Yeah. No, I am a tennis coach and I am from Bradenton, Florida. All right. I don't need people worrying about my professional background. I don't need people worrying about where I'm from. I want them to focus on this personality and I want them to focus on how fun I am. I want them to focus on the fact that I'm a triplet, but I 100% will not be telling anybody what I do for work or where I work.
Will you be more of a hero or a villain in the house?
I'm definitely more of a villain, but see, when I say that, most people actually tell me I'm more of a hero, so I think it could go either way. In my mind, I'm more of a villain. When it comes to Snap 2, I really do, and I also think I tell it how it is, and I'm kind of a sorry, I don't know if I can say but I kind of am, so I also read it down very consistently, so I think I'll definitely lean more towards the villain side. But again, a lot of people tell me I'm good-natured and a lot nicer than I think I am, so who knows? Maybe I could be a hero. Maybe a villain who's a hero. Does that work?
How will you crush your enemies?
I'm going to crush my enemies by being their friend. I think there's something so interesting about being a frenemy with somebody and then turning around and putting them on the block. You know what I mean? And then sitting there in front of the entire house, telling them exactly what I think of them. So I think that is a really good way to shut somebody up. Also, like a few reads here and there definitely help, but I'm always ready to put somebody in their place. I'm the youngest of 3 and I've always had to fight for my own, and I'm ready to do that in the Big Brother house.
What are you bringing to the show that nobody has seen before?
Well, you guys have never had a triplet on, so that's new. I also think I'm going to bring like a unique and interesting energy. I don't really give a shit what people think about me, and I think that's going to bode well for me in the house and with America. I'm also not afraid to run right up to an edge and just jump right off and see where it goes. And I think that's a unique twist that, especially in maybe the more modern seasons, some people have been afraid of. But again, I bring a level of strategic knowledge, ingenuity, and also a level of happiness and energy.
Yeah, there we go.
Wrapped up into a cute little gift basket, if I do say so myself.
What's your fan level with Big Brother?
Yeah, I would say I'm a solid fan.
Okay.
Yeah. I've seen most Big Brother seasons, not all of them. I started watching with my mom, primarily around BB10. And then I've just watched since then. So I've seen a lot of the show. I wouldn't consider myself a super fan, but I'm definitely a big fan of the show and definitely understand how the ins and outs of the shows work, the unique characters that exist, and really how to play a solid game that you really want to do to win, right? Not showing all your cards at once, but moving strategically through the game.
What's your strategy going into the game?
Yeah, so going into the house, I want to be a part of a bigger alliance right away, right? I don't want to form the alliance. I want to be in situations where the alliance comes to me. Because the last thing you want to do is everybody finds out you're trying to form some bigger alliance, right?
I like that.
Then within that bigger alliance, that's usually around 6 to 8 people. I want to form a couple different 2, maybe even 3 different groups of 3. I said group of 8, maybe a group of 9. All right. So I want to find those threesomes within the larger group. And within that, I want to find a ride or die and what I call a good div. Div is too long, div is just right. And through that, I want to make a few final 2s and a few final 3s. That way you have an alliance within an alliance. The bigger alliances, they always break up. They always implode a few weeks into the competition. So you need to have those smaller alliances together so that when the bigger alliance breaks up, you have something to latch onto. Then from there, you figure out who your competition is. You figure out who's running the other side of the house, who the masterminds are, and you eliminate them. You get them out right away. You don't want to be like Cody in BB16 when he had the opportunity to send Derek home and didn't, all right?
Exactly.
I'm going to be the one who's going to send my competition home when given the opportunity and when I have all the power, all right? So my strategy going in is to build that bigger alliance, build smaller alliances within that alliance, and have a few final 3s and final 2s that I can really lean into when the time is right. And at the end, you want to take somebody to final 2 that you know you can beat. You don't want to pull a Chelsea and Mackenzie all over again. When Mackenzie should have taken Cam with her, come on, she would have beaten him, all right? Yes. I'm not taking a Chelsea with me to the final. I'm taking somebody I can beat, and that's how I'm going to win BB27.
what makes Big Brother such a successful show after 25 years?
I'm gonna turn a light on. It's getting dark.
Big Brother has been such a success because every season there's something a little different. There's a new twist, there's a new turn, and the house guests always have a willingness to adapt to what's coming. And the house guests are always different every season. There's always a different crop of people with interesting personalities. And I think that brings America coming back to see what's in store, right? But there is a framework, right? It's literally like a box of chocolates. You open the box and you know there's chocolate in it, but you don't know if there's a macadamia nut inside. You don't know if there's peanut butter inside.
That's a really good analogy.
And it's always a welcome surprise. So I think Big Brother's been successful for so long because there's a formula and a lot of variables within that formula that keeps the show interesting and keeps people coming back. And hell, this season they get to see me on the screen, all right? So that's even better for them to come back 25 more years after this.
Okay, yeah, I really like him a lot. Honestly, out of the guys so far, he's probably the one I'm the most impressed by. I think just in general, like, he has a really great energy to him, but he also has a really interesting way of looking at the game. One of the things I like that he said is that he wants to be in alliances, but he doesn't necessarily want to be in a majority one. He wants to try to form things with other people. And I think that's really good early on. If you can put yourself in a position where, like, you have options and you can go in different avenues, that can be really good for you because an alliance can crumble and you can still just be fine. And I feel like that's exactly the kind of game that Jimmy's trying to play. And I think that if he's able to pull that off, I think honestly he could go very far. But he also seems like somebody that, you know, is ready to win competitions. He's ready to, you know, get into fights if he needed to. He has a really good mind for the game. I like what he said about how, you know, he's going to say whatever he needs to say to survive. And I feel like, you know, just in general, I think he's definitely a really big threat. And I think, you know, that's going to work out for him. Yes, he did not mention anything about AI. That's always a plus. That also does put him up a few notches for sure. Also, I do want to mention the fact that, like, yes, he used backdoor. He used blindside instead of backdoor. We like when people use the correct terminology in Big Brother, so that also is very much a positive in his way. Yeah, I mean, I think he's going to do really well. I think he's going to connect with people early on. I think he's going to make some really solid connections. I don't see him being somebody that goes out early in the game. I think really my only concerns are the things that he mentioned, that he's a little too trustworthy of people, and that can definitely, like, be an issue of sorts. I'm forgetting what the second thing he said was, like, his weakness, but I think the trustworthy part is definitely something that, you know, the other thing he mentioned was, like, sometimes he thinks he needs to win a comp and then he doesn't win the comp, and that could be a comp that could boost his game. And I think that could definitely be an issue for him, is that, like, if he's in a position where he feels like I need to win and then he doesn't win, we've seen so many times on Big Brother where it's like someone had an opportunity to do something. They were just never able to win a comp. They were never able to get their footing. I don't think comps are everything in Big Brother, but modern Big Brother usually is, and especially when you have something like the BB Blockbuster in play, there's really no excuse why you shouldn't try to win a comp. And so I feel like Jimmy needs to take those opportunities to do so, and if he doesn't, I feel like that could be an issue for him. But either way, I mean, I think, like I said, I think he's going to be well integrated. I think he's going to connect well with people. I definitely, 8 Loves, can see the Andy comparisons. I'm not sure about Tommy, because here's the thing with Tommy, is that, like, Tommy's kind of the opposite of Jimmy, where, like, Tommy came into the game and, like, he has a majority alliance immediately, doesn't really have the connections with other people. He maybe has stuff towards the end, but most of the time he's just like a subsidiary to, you know, Grateful and shit like that. I think Jimmy's going to be the opposite, where, like, he's not really here for the majority alliance. He's here to work with people in that majority alliance, but he doesn't want to be the face of it. He doesn't want that to be, like, his only avenue. He's going to try to find other groups to work with, and I think that's going to ensure his success in the game. I like what he talks about also, where he's like, I want to find a ride or die, and then I think he said a D is the other thing he talked about, where, like, he wants to find somebody that's, like, kind of his, like, backup if things go south. And I think that's also something that's good to do in Big Brother. So yeah, I think all around, like, he just has, like, the right skill sets. I feel very good about him. It's like right now, him and Ashley are the people I think I feel the best of within the game. But we're more than halfway through. I'm really liking this cast so far. There's really only 1 or 2 people I'm not really jiving with. I think this is a really solid group of people. I also like what they're saying about, MJ not taking Cam. Two people have said it. I also like that a lot of them seem to have a lot of love for Taylor Hale. This is not going to be like Big Brother 25 where they just, clown on her for whatever reason. This seems like a cast that has the correct takes. And look, I'm not somebody that likes to tell people what you should and shouldn't feel in terms of opinions. Reality TV, though, most of the time, I think there's some things that are pretty much the correct way to look at it. It's a little bit different when it comes to that. If it's scripted, I'm not going to be a hard ass. You like what you like. But reality TV, I might be a little bit more of a stickler when it comes to that. And I think something like, MJ not taking Chelsea or Taylor, playing an amazing game and having such an amazing win, those are just things that, we should just agree as a community are good things, that we should just agree that's the way to look at it, and maybe things would be better. Now, obviously, it's not going to be that way because people love to fight in the Big Brother community, but regardless, I like Jimmy a lot. I'm going on a tangent here, as I normally do. Are we really surprised that I'm going on a tangent? I mean, that's just per the course for me. Anyways, like Jimmy, feel like he's going to do well. Probably one of the people I feel the best of. And yeah, I think he has a lot of potential in the game. So we're going to go ahead and move on to our next person here. And this is Katherine. And again, another person that we saw in the 20-second thing from Sunday. Let's see what Katherine has to offer.
To start, tell us a little bit about yourself. Give us your name, where you're from, and what you do.
Hi, I'm Katherine Woodman. I'm from Columbia, South Carolina, and I am a fine dining server.
What's your reaction
to
getting to play Big Brother?
In Big Brother.
I mean, it feels really good. I'm super excited to be in the Big Brother house and to be a house guest this summer. I think no matter what happens, I'll have a lot of fun and I'll learn a lot about myself. But the goal is obviously to win money at the end of the day.
Yes.
Tell us a little bit about your life in the outside world and how that has prepared you for Big Brother.
Outside of this game, I am a waitress. I accommodate to people's needs all the time, and I can keep a straight face when I genuinely don't like people very much, and they have no idea and still end up giving me money at the end of their service. So I think that's a skill that's going to really help me in this house because there's a lot more money on the line in this house than there is a tip at a table. I'm also I have a degree in public relations. I know how to twist things, which is something that the PR professors never want you to say.
Dinner's ready.
But I can twist a story to make it sound right and to work in my favor. And I have that skill from 4 years at a university. So I am ready to go with the skills that I've developed.
Why did you want to compete on Big Brother?
I want to compete on Big Brother to really prove to myself that I can do something like this. I can be taken seriously. I have gained all of these skills from experiences in my life.
Okay.
Strength from going through a lot when I was younger. Just some form of intelligence from going into school and learning how to read people at my job and in school as well and read situations. I think it's probably the best example to myself of what I can truly handle and also how much I can get out of a situation.
What's your strategy going into the game?
My strategy going into the house is to kind of try to be everyone's friend. I don't want to be too overly that way, and people think that I'm just trying to make connections in order to stay in the house because I'm likable. But I think definitely after the first couple of days, I'm slowly going to be trying to infiltrate different little groups that I might see forming just to make sure that I'm still in the background of their heads as somebody that they enjoy being around and like being there. So I'm not a target up front when people are just trying to get rid of people and not get too much blood on their hands.
Why will you win Big Brother?
Hey, you avoided the Jazzy curse in the game I hosted.
Big Brother because
so it doesn't happen all the time, Jazzy.
Underestimate me, and they're not going to anticipate my strong social game.
What are your biggest strengths?
Some of my strengths going into this game are probably going to be the fact that people aren't going to look at me as somebody major to take out immediately, even though I'm going to attempt to do things kind of behind the scenes. I think that one of my strengths is going to be the fact that people just end up trusting me all the time. I am kind of like the secret vault that people always tell things to in my personal life, and I think that's going to be applicable to the house.
What are your biggest weaknesses?
I think one of my weaknesses in the Big Brother house could potentially be me being a little too trusting. I'd like to think that I'm going to have my guard up, but
a lot of people
I
seem
don't
to
want to
have
be
that
one of those
issue in
people
this
that ends up
cast.
blindsided for trusting the wrong people.
Do you plan on keeping any secrets about yourself from the other house guests?
I think when I get into the house, I'm going to be pretty honest about who I am. I think the way that I present myself might be a little falsified. I'm not going to intentionally try to get anybody to think that I'm smart or I'm thinking too much about this game. I'm totally fine with being viewed as kind of the ditzy person running around the house that brings a little bit of sunshine in, more so than somebody that's taken very seriously, which I think would be a bit of a misinterpretation of me.
Would you be open for a showmance?
I think a showmance this summer is something that I could be open to. It's not something that I'm actively going to be looking for, but I think if I can find a way to have a little bit of extra fun for maybe a week or two, I'll do that. But I don't really see it being something that continues on for my entire gameplay in the house like some people do.
Will you be more of a hero or a villain in the house?
I think whether or not I'm a hero or a villain in the Big Brother house is more so going to depend on the people I'm surrounded with. I think if the majority of everyone there is getting on my nerves, then I will more than likely end up being a bit of a villain. I don't think I can hold back my personality quite that much that I wouldn't get annoyed with them. But under normal circumstances, probably a little bit more so hero way, where we just have to see who's there.
How will you crush your enemies?
I think I can crush my enemies potentially by, once again, just them underestimating me. I think it's something that they're not going to expect if I go behind someone's back or if I make a slight bit of moves. I think I'm a bit manipulative, and I think I can convince people that my ideas are their ideas if I need to get some strong people out.
What will be your secret weapon in the house?
I think my secret weapon is going to be the fact that I am going to come off extremely trusting. I think that people aren't going to be expecting much from me probably going in, and I genuinely want to portray myself that way. So that's going to be a big part of my gameplay.
What are you bringing to the show that nobody has seen before?
I think I'm going to bring to the show somebody that is a bit younger, and there have been young people before, but someone with a lot more depth, I think, than anybody that's probably been on this show below 25 before. I've experienced a lot of things in my first 23 years of life already, and I think it's going to show a lot more facets of myself than I think a lot of people my age would be showing.
What's your fan level with Big Brother?
Honestly, my fan level is like, I'm a big fan. I love the show. I'm very entertained by it.
That's good.
Super fan, not so much. Okay. I wish I was. I think it would really help my preparedness, but I have seen
good amount at least.
A few seasons and I love it. It was something that I got kind of hooked on immediately in the past like year and a half, honestly. There's only so much you can watch in that short amount of time. So we'll see how that works for me.
Why will you be the player to watch this season?
I will be the one to watch this summer because I am probably going to be one of the most entertaining people in that house. I genuinely think that I'm just going to be a fun person to see navigate the game. I think most people these days are super fans, and they are so incredibly cautious with their gameplay, which, yes, is good.
Hey, the one where the cookout made final
have
six.
Fun,
Very
make
good.
moves,
That was a good
do
double.
Something important while you're there. You know, you don't want your time wasted
Michael
just being super cautious of everybody else in the house.
What makes Big Brother such a successful show after 25 years?
I think Big Brother is genuinely the staple entertainment for Americans. It has funny moments. It has these big outlandish competitions that are just fun to watch and seem like, wait, I wouldn't mind competing in that just for fun, let alone for money. There's a lot of things at stake, whether or not it's relationships within the house, friendships, also the money at the end of the day. I mean, there's so many different things going on, and it never gets boring. So I think that's why Big Brother is just such a staple American show for people to watch.
Okay, she is definitely different than I expected. I think on paper you look at Katherine and you're like, that's somebody who, you know, is kind of just gonna coast by. She's just here for a showmance, that kind of thing. But like, she does not give me that vibe at all from what we're seeing here. I think she's actually someone who's a lot more driven, a lot more headstrong, a lot more ready to play the game, and also seems like she could be very adaptable in that way. I think she could be somebody that has, shows different sides of her. I think if a girls' alliance is made, I don't think Katherine's going to be the one to shut it down. I think that she will be all into it. I do agree with you, Eight Loves. I think that she could potentially attach herself to the guys, but from the way she describes it, she doesn't really want like a long-term showmance or anything. It's going to be like a quick thing. So I think that could be good for her. I do have concerns though that like because very often, how often does it happen in the game where like we see somebody who is young, Katherine's age, who says in their thing that like, oh, I'm not looking for a showmance. And then they get in the house and then they're showmancing the second the feeds come on. I wouldn't be surprised if that happened with Katherine. I wouldn't be surprised, but I do think that she is a little bit more driven, a little bit more into the game than I would have expected her to be. And I think that she has a lot of potential as a result of that. I think she is going to go fairly far. I think the double eviction thing, though, I think that's definitely a possibility. I think Katherine is somebody where people are going to see her, they're going to think she's too likable, they're going to think she has too many connections, and I think she's just going to be probably in a similar spot to where Leah was last season, unless she's able to win the HOH that Leah did and actually make the move that Leah didn't make. Then I feel like Katherine's just going to end up in a similar spot there. So I don't know how far she's going to make it. I think I see her like 7-6. That's where I see her going, unfortunately. There's just no other way for me to look at it than that. But I do think she's going to do well. Like, I think we're going to see her on the feeds, and she's probably going to be very likable. We're probably going to enjoy her presence, but I don't know if she's able to win the game. I think just the type of player that she is, we don't typically see them go far. I can definitely see Leah comparisons for sure from last season. Although Leah came in knowing significantly less about the game than Katherine did. And I feel like that is going to be a benefit to Katherine, because Leah came in as like someone who like, oh, my sister watched, I didn't really watch. Whereas Katherine's coming in and she's like, I'm not a super fan, but I've watched a good amount of Big Brother and I know what I'm getting myself into. So I feel like she is definitely someone that I think could go pretty far. I just don't know how far at this point. So I agree with you. Kind of hard to read. Definitely a little bit more strategic than I expected from her, which I think is good. But could she also be somebody who like gives that up to like end up being in a showmance? I could also see it. I definitely could also see it, because she even says like it's not something she's looking for, but it's not something that she would necessarily be against either. So yeah, that's kind of how I feel about Katherine. I hope she does well. Like I said, I liked her answers. I think that she seems like a likable personality. I think she's going to do fairly well. I think if that girls' alliance is a thing, I think she could easily be pulled into it. I think she'll probably be in an alliance either way. I definitely think she, has all the hallmarks of like somebody that people latch onto and want to pull into things. But, we'll see how she really does. Next person that we're talking about here, let's talk about Keanu, someone that a lot of people have talked about as a very interesting occupation. So I'm really interested to watch his interview as a result. So let's just get into it. 10 minutes again. Oh my God. This video is going to be 3 hours long. Like I said,
tell us a little bit
although
about yourself.
We're getting
Give
down
us
to
your
it.
name, where you're from,
like
and what
12.
you do.
My name is Keanu Soto. I'm a personal trainer and nutritionist from McKinney, Texas.
What's your reaction to getting to play Big Brother?
It feels great to be a house guest on Big Brother. It's been a long journey to get here, and I'm just happy that it's finally here.
Tell us a little bit about your life in the outside world and how that has prepared you for Big Brother.
A little bit about myself. Been doing personal training for 15 years now. In that line of work, you do meet a variety of different folks. I believe that, and coupled up with my ability to do like improv and things of that nature, I feel like gives me the tools and the ability to, like I said, connect with a variety of folks. But the improv
what did you say in the video? I didn't hear
the ability to
I was not paying attention. I expected to say Dungeon Master
on my feet. And, when things might not necessarily go the way that you envision them to, that's a tremendous skill to have. and yeah, just my ability to dungeon master as well.
There we go.
There we go. And being a dungeon master, you got to step into different roles, become different people.
Personal trainer.
And I feel like being able to do that will provide me with a unique skill set that a lot of people don't have or are not familiar with, and that will ultimately give me an edge.
Why did you want to compete on Big
Brother? Right, that's all I need to hear was about the Dungeon Master part.
Why did I want to compete on Big Brother? Honestly, I really just want to challenge myself. I feel like a lot of people may look at it on TV and be like, I could do that. And I don't think people really realize what it takes. I realize what it takes, and I feel like I would do exceptionally well. So I really want to just challenge myself.
Why will you win Big Brother?
I'm going to be the one to win because I can tell you right now I want it more than everybody else. I know everybody's going to say that. But
I'm sure that's not
true.
I
feel like I have a complete game. I have the social, the physical aspect of it, the mental aspect of it. I feel like I just have what it takes to win.
What are your biggest strengths?
My strengths are my ability to connect with people. So my social game. And I'm, like I said, I'm no slouch on the physical side of things either. And I believe that people underestimating or by looking at me and seeing that he's probably a physical comp beast, they will underestimate my mental game as well. So I feel like that is a strength I will have going in.
What are your biggest weaknesses?
Poof. Yeah, I trust people way too easily. I like to think that I have a good read on people, but if I don't,
this is the season of people trusting others too much. It
take
seems
advantage.
Everyone has that.
I definitely trust too easily.
Do you plan on keeping any secrets about yourself from the other house guests?
No, I mean, as far as like profession and things like that, personal trainer, that's a pretty common profession. The fact that I'm like a super nerd or something like that, I don't think necessarily that'll be a detriment.
Again, yes, embrace the nerdery. Is that the word? So, yeah, embrace the nerdery.
No, I don't think I'll withhold any information. I'll gain my enemy's trust. And, this is Big Brother, so it may not be normally in my character to betray that trust, but you got to do what you got to do to win $750,000, right?
It is a word, nerdery. I just looked it up. It's right here. It's right here, nerdery.
I've seen quite a few seasons of the show now, and I don't believe there's ever quite been like someone who looks like me that is, quite as charismatic. I know Brent from like season 20, I think it was.
That's
he was
weird.
He's a pretty charismatic I don't see that guy, at all. But he's definitely not like nerdy like me.
Know.
And I like to think of myself as a chameleon, a very well-rounded like personality. So I feel like I have the ability to get along with a vast array of people in spite of what I look like.
What's your strategy going into
right? The fact that's the party's
I really just want to focus on my strengths initially, which is just connecting with people. I feel like someone or a player that was very good at that in the 2 seasons that he was on was Enzo. I know he's originally from season 12. I can't remember what the All-Star
Enzo I can maybe see.
He was in that one as
definitely
well,
more than Brett.
And I feel like his social game and his ability to connect with people always takes him far in the game. I feel like he just never quite built on the like capital, I guess, that he was building, and was able to utilize that.
Great at building bonds, not really good at doing.
His strength was just his social game, whereas I feel like I bring a little bit more of a complete package as terms of like physicality and things like that. So I feel like I would have a similar game plan, just being social, connecting with people, letting them know that I, will fight for them, and I could, in that vein, they'll probably end up fighting for me as well, and take each other to the end. And when it comes time to be one-on-one, that's when I'm gonna pounce, and I'm gonna show, my true ability, my true form, if you will.
What makes Big Brother such a successful show after 25 years?
From my personal experience, I love the strategy aspect of it. I feel like the nature of the game of, building connections and sometimes having to flip on those connections and kind of really never knowing what's going to happen. As they say, expect the unexpected. You know, when you don't know what to expect, it keeps you coming in from a right. So I feel like Big Brother definitely has a good grasp on that. And that's why it's had such a long tenure. Yeah.
Why will you be to watch this season?
I'll be the one to watch this summer because like I said, I have the capability physically to win comps. I know that's always like a fan favorite from what I understand. You know,
not
my
really,
social game's going to be there.
It usually helps you.
So I'm always going to be having, you know, game conversations, not too early because I know that people that play too hard at the beginning end up getting the boot. But yeah, I'm just going to be very involved in a lot of different aspects of the game. And I feel like I personally have the capability to be very low key and slick about it without making it seem like I'm trying too hard, you know, to put a target on my back.
Would you be open for a showmance?
I'm team nomance. I want to win $750,000.
Okay. Yes, like that.
I don't need an Achilles heel.
What will be your secret weapon in the house?
My secret weapon, I believe, is my charisma. Like I said earlier, I feel like I have the ability to connect with people. So it's a pretty it's an unsuspecting thing coming from someone who looks like me. So yeah.
What's on your Big Brother bucket list?
BB bucket list. Well, number one, win $750,000.
No, absolutely not, Jack.
Number two, I really want to. I like that game where you like throw the ball over the little hill.
Cornhole, yeah, that's
250 times. I feel like people look at that,
anymore
on the show, and they're just like, I could do that. And I don't think they realize how much that makes your legs burn doing like a shuttle run 250 times. But I feel like that's a competition that I've always wanted to try and win. I think really, yeah, just honestly, I'm really looking forward to the comps. They just all seem like super fun. And yeah, so I'd say those are my big two: $750K, playing the comps.
What will be the easiest and hardest parts of being a house guest?
The hardest part about being a house guest, for me personally, because I've always lived by myself, is going to be living with 15 other people. And also typically possibly having to wait to use the restroom. That sounds horrible. Probably another hard thing would probably be like being a have-not. I feel like that would probably be pretty difficult. The easiest part about being a house guest, I don't want to say it's going to be easy. I feel like I personally will handle it easier than most. Just being disconnected from the outside world. That actually sounds like a vacation to me. So,
what are some standout moments for you from the past 25 years of Big Brother?
Favorite standout moments? Ooh. Classic. I want to say it's season 6. With Maggie and Kaser, when he goes up, when she's like, "Oh, you just sealed my fate in this game," and he's like, "No, I just sealed your partner's fate."
Classic moment.
Badass line.
Was watching the RHAP retrospective on that actually last night.
Let's see.
So good.
Another one. Season 12, Rachel, floaters grab your life.
Oh yeah,
that's classic.
Classic moment.
The Beast Mode Cowboy Caleb. Yeah, when Derek is talking to Beast Mode Cowboy Caleb. And he boosts his ego up, and he's like, in the diary room, he's like, "And that, ladies and gentlemen, is how you win $750,000." I'm telling you, if I'm coming in here to win.
The third one was a weird comparison. But okay. So thoughts on Keanu? Not gonna lie, at first I wasn't really digging him. I found him a little boring. He's definitely someone who's very chill, very personable. I think that those are all things that can take him very far. But I definitely was seeing the Casey comparison. And unfortunately, Casey was kind of boring in Big Brother 20. The only thing I remember from Casey in Big Brother 20 is her saying, "Let's go" a lot, and her winning the game, and it not being Tyler winning the game, and being disappointed that Tyler didn't win the game. But yeah, I I think he's going to do well. I think that he's someone who people will gravitate towards because he's going to be really chill. I think he's probably going to be like, again, kind of like last season, like the calm in a sea of chaoticness. I think this cast, from what I'm seeing, is going to be even more chaotic than last season. So I think that Keanu is going to be kind of like the antidote to that. And I think people are going to gravitate towards him. It's like, if we need to take a breather, we need to just like, chill. We need to just kind of like do whatever. Oh, hi, Violet. Always great to see you. Yes, I believe so. You watched, for some reason, you decided to watch Big Brother 22. And I understand why you have not want to watch since, because that season fucking sucked. But Keanu, on the other hand, doesn't fucking suck. He did win me towards the end. I think he starts to show a bit more personality. He starts to show a little bit more of him being a fan. He started to show more of him just being somebody that understands the game. And, I like what he said about Janelle and Kaser. I like what he said about Rachel. I don't know why he mentioned Caleb and Big Brother 16. That's not somebody I really want to think about. Yeah, I think overall, I think he's going to do fairly well. I also love the fact that he is literally like a personal trainer, but he's more excited by the fact that he's a dungeon master. I like the nerd within him. Like I said, I like the fact this cast isn't afraid to embrace like their quirky side. And I think that Keanu is going to be like fun to watch. I can see him being somebody that, similar to a Cam, like is mostly very chill, but has these moments where he just comes alive. Like, remember when Cam, when they were doing like the karaoke thing, not the karaoke, but like they were doing like the talent show and Cam just starts like singing like a country singer. Like, that's what I want to see from Keanu. Like him just like doing things that you wouldn't expect. And he just turned out to be like just a really fun guy. And I can definitely see him being that way. But at the same time, I also feel like he might not be the most exciting to watch sometimes. So I don't know. I'm kind of back and forth with him. I think he's going to do well. I think he has that chill attitude that I think people are going to really like. But is that going to take him far? Is he going to be in a similar spot to Cam last season, where, again, people just feel good with him and he makes a pretty deep run as a result of that? Or are people going to feel like Keanu's kind of closed off? He's not giving me, because if you remember, Cam was very closed off at first. He wasn't giving people enough. Chelsea had to constantly tell him to talk more to people, and he finally did it once he saw himself on the block. Is Keanu going to have that same awareness? Is Keanu going to be able to do that same thing? That is a concern that I do have. And if he's not able to do that, I can see him getting taken out in one of the blockbusters. I can absolutely see that, where it's like Keanu goes up as a pawn, not meant to go out of the game, but because of the fact that like the target ends up winning, they just send Keanu out because they know that Keanu's super well insulated and they need to get him out to get somebody else out. So yeah, right now, I see him going either somewhat early, like in pre-jury, or I see him making a very deep run. And I'm not sure which one he's going to fall into, but, we'll have to see. Not somebody I'm super high on, but someone I went from, this guy's kind of boring me and the video's way too long, to someone that by the end I really did like quite a bit. So yeah, that's how I feel about Keanu. Let's move on to our next person. This is Kelley. There's no video from this one. There's no videos for the rest of these, it seems. That's kind of weird. I'm not sure exactly what happened, but hey, I mean, I guess it'll speed things up a bit more that there's no videos for the rest of these people. So let's talk about some of these other people. Okay, so we have Kelley here. Kelley is 29. She is a Burbank. She lives in Burbank, South Dakota. I don't know why I thought that was her occupation for a second, but she's a web designer. She's excited to play Big Brother because she's excited to, make all these new friends. She's going to win Big Brother because she is a farm kid and she has farm kid grit back on the farm. There's no such thing as she's tired of the task or she's done with it. She says that, she wants to finish the task, whatever needs to be done, she does it. And that's what she's going to do in the house. She's going to be a farm kid. A little bit about her life in the outside world. She's a solo traveler. She's been to 42 countries, all 50 U.S. states, and literally half of Mexico. She stayed in hostels. She's good with communal living and sharing a kitchen and sharing a bathroom with 16 people. This is all kind of second nature to her. So she's going to be great. So she has a lot of experience at sharing a house with people, it seems. Her graduating class was 64. She was U.S. from kindergarten to senior year graduation. Same building all 13 years. So she's used to being locked in a room. Her strengths are definitely her social skills and ability to read people. Her weaknesses is definitely going to be competition. She's not super competitive. Not that that's going to stop her, but she's not super competitive and she needs to win this thing, but she's also very clumsy. So she has a feeling the competitions are not going to be her strong suit. One of the first people in the entire cast to not say that their weakness is trusting too many people. So maybe she's going to have the upper hand because she doesn't have that as a weakness. So I don't know. We'll see. Okay, does she plan on keeping any secrets from herself from the other house guests? She doesn't want to reveal her profession. She has a couple really successful businesses that she runs, and she would love for her house guests to not know that. Also, the fact that she's traveled so extensively, she wants to try to downplay those two things. How she's going to crush her enemies is with kindness. She's going to bring the show the weird, quirky energy. She's going to be everyone's hype woman. She's here to hype up all the house guests, and she's going to be everyone's friend. Strategy going to the game is that when she's traveling, she likes to say the best way to go is with no plan at all. And that's sort of how she's entering the house. She's only seen 1 or 2 seasons. She thinks she has a fresh perspective, and that's going to help a lot. Her strategy is to kind of lay low for the first few weeks and hopefully make it till jury, and then make it all the way if she can rely on the social aspects and the friends that she makes. What player why will she be the player to watch the season? Because she's going to be quirky, fun. She's going to bring the fun dances and the fun songs to the house. She's going to make everybody do little dance parties, even if they don't want to. That's definitely not going to be a problem, I think. Definitely not something they're going to get annoyed by, unless they're like last season's cast, or we're a bunch of theater kids and enjoyed that stuff. Maybe that'll be something that they want to partake in. But as of right now, does not seem like that's the vibe of this cast. What makes Big Brother such a successful show? She talks about it's the 25th anniversary, so it's a long-running show because of the drama and the social aspect. That's what she is here for, too. So she's excited to see how her and her fellow housemates get along. Would she be open to a showman? She's in a very happy relationship with her boyfriend of 8 months now, so she does not see herself getting into a showman's. Even if she didn't, she wouldn't really want to be in one. Will she be more of a hero or a villain? That she says that she is a villain she says if she's a villain on this show, something has gone very wrong. She's not a villain, but she does not know that she'll necessarily be a hero either. But if villain comes to mind, something has gone very wrong. Secret weapon in the house is her spontaneity and her bravery. She's on this crazy show with all these crazy new house guests and embracing the challenge, and that's her superpower, is she embraces and she adapts. All right, so I have a prediction, and I don't think this is an original thought because I saw some people saying this on Twitter. Her and Ava, final two. There's no question about it. These two have such similar energies to the point where they're big and over the top, and they're not afraid to say what's on their mind. But Kelley's definitely, I think, going to be the one that people see as she's a little bit nicer. She's not as brash as Ava. And I think that she's probably going to make better connections than Ava as a result of that. But I also she doesn't want a showman. She talks about the fact that, because she's in a relationship and things like that, but she also talks about how she's going to get she's someone who's going to be this really nice person. The concern I have for Kelley is her lack of comp abilities, especially, like I said, with the addition of the BB Blockbuster. I think if she can win at least one comp, that'll be better for her than winning none. I don't know if I see that in the cards for her. And I feel like what could very well happen is, let's say Ava is annoying people and they can't really get her out because maybe Ava's better at comps than Kelley. I think you could easily just take Kelley out and, she ends up going there as a result of that. I like her. I like her energy. I like how much, she wants to be this positive presence. Something tells me, though, that's going to be her weakness in the game, is the fact that she doesn't have that more cutthroat sort of side to her. And I think that's going to overall hurt her. So that's really how I feel about Kelley. I'm hoping that she does really well. Something tells me, though, she just seems like someone who's going to go early for me. I get the pre-jury type vibes from her. I think she's probably going to end up going in, in a spot where she probably wasn't supposed to, but I think that's probably what's going to happen to her. So, all right. So we got Kelley. Let's talk about Lauren. She is 22 years old. She's from Lafayette, LA. She's a bridal consultant, and why she wants to compete is because she's a super competitive person. She's been loving Big Brother for as long as she can remember, so competing in this competition means a lot to her. What does she bring to the house that nobody has seen before? She doesn't think Big Brother has really seen someone who's a super sweet Southern belle, but at the same time is willing to crush people in competitions if she needs to, and a super fan as well. Strategy going into the game is that she wants to really sort of take in each person and sort of feel people out, get really close to them, sort of figure out what their strategies are going to be and build trust and sort of build it off of that. She thinks going in with a set strategy and trying to play too hard, too fast always gets people in the beginning. So she kind of wants to lay low starting off and then really start to play a little bit later on. Fan level on Big Brother is that she's a super fan. She used to watch growing up with her parents. That was sort of like their family time. So Big Brother means a lot to her. Got to say, really refreshing to see a cast of super fans. Sans Kelley, because Kelley said she's only watched 2 seasons, which I think is also going to be a detriment for her. But we're not talking about Kelley. We're going back to Lauren here. Just wanted to do a quick side tangent to note that I think it's great that, we have a cast of mainly people who know Big Brother fairly well. So, okay. What makes Big Brother such a successful show is that she thinks that people keep coming back because it's such a well-rounded show. It shows everything you could possibly love. It is love, friendship, backstabbing, all that stuff, drama. And she thinks that each season sort of brings its own style to it, and that's why people always tend to come back. Biggest strength is that she's a very competitive person. So she feels like she might thrive in competition. She also loves talking and connecting with people. So she feels like her social game is going to be something that's going to be a strength for her. Biggest weakness is that she thinks going into the game, she's going to be a little bit too empathetic. She's a very bad liar, so that could very well be one of her weaknesses. Does she plan on keeping any secrets? She doesn't want to tell people that she's a huge super fan, but I don't think she realizes she's in a cast with mainly really big super fans. So I don't think that's going to be a huge issue for her. But yeah, she wants to hide that. She thinks that if they, she knows the game too well, that they'll know how to play it. Is she going to be more of a hero or a villain? She says she thinks she's going to be a hero, but she can be a villain if she needs to. Most of the time when people say, I can be a villain, you usually can't be a villain, and you usually gravitate towards the hero side. So, yeah. Open to a showman. She says that if she can use it to her advantage, she would maybe do a showman's, but definitely the end goal is going to be winning. So if a showman's takes her further, that's definitely something that she might do. So she's probably going to enter into a showman's from that answer is what I'm thinking. How she's going to, will she crush her enemies, is that she feels like she's not the most malicious person, but that her competitiveness can sort of speak for itself in a way. Secret weapon is that she thinks she can get close to people. She's a really good observer and learner, so she thinks she might take a back seat, listen to conversations and what people are talking about, and sort of use that to her advantage later on. And then her reaction again, play Big Brother, is that's absolutely insane. It's totally beyond her. She feels like she's living outside of her body, but it's really incredibly exciting. How she thinks she's going to be perceived is that she's probably the youngest house guest. I believe she is the youngest house guest, but she feels like being young, she can sort of use that to her advantage. Thinks a lot of people are going to think that she's this sweet young girl who wants to be on TV, but what they won't know is that she's an absolute super fan and will do whatever it takes to win. Standout moments. Okay, so she loves Dan's funeral and she loves Keisha's birthday. All right, so she did actually give us a little something to talk about. She likes that they stirred up so much drama in the house, sort of brought out everyone's personalities, and that was really fun to watch. So great mentions all around. BB bucket list. She wants to see Zingbot. She wants to play in Hide and Go Veto, meeting Julie. There's so many moments that she just can't wait for. Then the easiest and hardest part of being a house guest is being in the house this summer, going to be away from her family because she's super, super close with her family, and she feels like that's going to be super tough for her. The easiest part about being in the Big Brother house is going to be back in LA with a backyard and a pool. I don't know. I mean, she's kind of somebody that, again, similar archetype of what we see. What I expected from Katherine, I'm kind of getting from Lauren. Like, that's kind of the best way to describe her. She just seems like somebody that probably going to make a fairly deep run. I think her and Katherine probably connect. I think they kind of have similar vibes, the way, though, like I said, I think Katherine's a little bit more strategic. Lauren seems like somebody who is kind of just there to chill. I could very well see her getting into a showman's. She talks about how she's like this heroic person. She's not really a villainous sort of presence, and I feel like people are going to like Lauren as a result. Like, I feel like people are going to gravitate towards her, but I just feel like she's not really giving me much of anything to really latch onto. I think she's probably going to win a bunch of competitions, and we're going to be like, oh my God, why did Lauren win another competition? I could very well see that. But yeah, I mean, that's the thing I will say it loves, is that she has the right she has the right things to like in the game, the things that she talks about. I like that she talks about the, Keisha's birthday and Dan's funeral and things like that. I like that she mentions those things, but the things that concern me again are the fact that I think she just seems a little too nice. I very much think that she's probably going to get into a showmance because she did not say that she was opposed to it. And I also feel like she's somebody who could very easily get pulled into like a majority guys alliance, and she's like the only person there. She could be the one to potentially shut down any chance of a women's alliance happening. I don't know. I feel like Lauren is just somebody that we just see every season. I don't really get much of anything from her. I think Annalise is a good comparison. Alyssa from Big Brother 24, I think, is a good comparison. She's just one of those people that's in the game, and it's like, what are you really doing here? What have you really brought to the table? I feel like that's Lauren in a nutshell. I hope she proves me wrong. I hope that she has a little bit more, I want to say gravitas, but I don't think that's the word I'm looking for. A little bit more layers. That's what I'm looking for. A little bit more layers to her than what we have seen. Because as of right now, I'm really not getting much of anything from her. Like, out of the people we've seen, she is probably the most like nothing house guest I've seen so far. So yeah, that's kind of where I'm at with Lauren. Just not really getting much of anything from her. Not at all like, not that I don't like her, but she just seems a little uninteresting to me compared to everybody else. But let's get to the next person. This is Mickey Lee. She is 35 years old. She lives in Jacksonville, Florida. She currently resides in Atlanta, Georgia. Occupation is event curator. Why she's going to win Big Brother is that she's literally done the most girliest things as well as the roughest things, from ROTC to planning birthday parties and whatever else that you could think of. She says that she dominates a city that's full of men, and she has to do a lot of business with them and dominates easily. And so she thinks she'll win in the Big Brother house because of the talent of her being very charming, being a person that people don't think is a threat. And so she's going to use that to her advantage. She's going to be very neutral, and she's going to be everyone's favorite person. Then when it's time, she's going to strike and make her move. She says that, reaction to playing Big Brother is that being on Big Brother this year, honestly, she's a little nervous, but she's also very excited. She feels like she's supposed to be here, but she also has little butterflies in her stomach. But at the same time, she also wants to kick some butt and make things happen. She thinks she has a whirlwind of emotions, but the most important emotion is the fact that she's about to win this entire competition. She's very nosy too, and she's wondering like what is going on in the world. She mentions, did Drake drop a new album? I'm not sure. I wonder what's going on. I don't know. I don't love the fact that she's a Drake fan, but that's a whole different story. She's asking if it rained today in Atlanta. Is it turning in? I don't know what she's trying to say here. I think she's just saying random things that she could be funny, but yeah, it's a hard thing to read. But yeah, asking herself a bunch of different questions. Why does she want to compete in Big Brother is that she thinks it's a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. I don't feel like a lot of people get to come on this show and show America what she has. She thinks that's exactly what she wants to do, show the world what she can do and what she's capable of, and that's going to win her the game. Strategy going into the game is definitely going to be a person that no one pays attention to in the beginning. She wants to be the girl's girl, be everyone's favorite, everyone's friend, make everyone feel good about themselves, and she does believe that the more that you ask about others and the more you invest in others allows them to feel better about themselves and see you less as a threat. So that's actually her strategy. So being all that others, being about other people, and being someone that's in the background until it's time for her to actually be in the forefront. And when she does that, that is when she's going to make all of her moves and make sure she comes out on top. What makes Big Brother such a successful show is that she thinks that people love the show because it's real, raw, and allows the house guests to be the ultimate decision makers for who wins and who takes on that money. It's very entertaining, and it's the one and only show that she knows personally that uses real life people and puts them in real life situations with others and to determine who gets on top. She thinks that's the most unique thing. It's not scripted and it's fun. She's going to be the player to watch this season because she brings a lot of energy, a lot of flair, a lot of charm. She'll be the one that's definitely going to dominate with nothing but femininity while wearing pink and kicking butt. She doesn't think she's seen or heard that before, so definitely watch out for her because she will be one to watch. Open to a showman. She is not in a showmance. She does not want to be in one. She doesn't see that happening. She's here for one thing and one thing only. She's not here to find a man or a husband. Again, very refreshing to hear a majority of the cast say that. Unless your name is Lauren. But more of a hero or a villain is that, she thinks that she might be a villain just because coming in being very intentional with her strategy, wanting people to be her friend, just to obviously overcome them. But then some people might think she's a hero because at least she's being honest about it. So there's a good balance. So maybe she's kind of both. So kind of like an anti-hero, though she called herself a hero villain. So secret weapon in the house is definitely going to be her charm, a little bit of flirting, which gets her a long way sometimes, and just being a genuine person, or at least what they might think is a genuine person. Fan level of Big Brother, she says that she's not a super fan, but she's become a fan over the past couple of years. She then recently started to watch everything when they hit season 24. That is when she started to get locked back in again. So she got to the cookout and all the other things. And then since then, she has been a pretty avid watcher. Standout moment, she talks about the cookout. She thinks it's the most powerful thing she's ever seen on Big Brother, and it made her very proud. Obviously, she hadn't even thought of being a part of Big Brother at the time, but in that moment, she felt proud to see people that look like her doing exceptional things. Why she's going to win Big Brother is because she wants it bad enough, and she does think that her being here aligns her with the purpose of being a winner. She doesn't lose, and win is pretty much in the middle of her name, so it's kind of like a must that it has to happen. Biggest strengths is that she's very charming. She's a charmer. She thinks she's very, very intentional and very good at observing others and reading people very quickly. But she's good at allowing people to like her, which she doesn't even know if that's a good strength, but it works well for her. People seem to flock to her, so she thinks those are all strengths to her. Weaknesses is that she's an emotional being. She's a very hard shell that it looks like on the outside, but on the inside, she is a ball of putty. So she's kind of a crybaby. That is one of her greatest weaknesses, for sure. Approaching the competitions, she wants to try to hide a little bit of her athleticism. She does have a little bit of a kick butt type of mentality, but she kind of wants to hold off on that a bit. And kind of like read the crowd first, and not sure if she wants to show it immediately, but she hasn't quite decided that yet. How she's going to crush her enemies is by being the person that they least suspect. She wants to be their ally, be the person that they think will do no harm, have anything up on them by being just a neutral party. So she thinks she's going to use her softness and just her femininity and her charm to make herself seem as strong as them and won't do anything wrong that will harm others. And then bring to the... Okay, so let's see. Big Brother bucket list is OTEV. That's a must. She wants to play in OTEV. Hopefully she's not the only person winning OTEV this time, because, we know what happened last season. And then 2, she's ready to get roasted by Zingbot because she thinks it's kind of funny and it's kind of cute. And number 3 is that she, it's like, she's talking about hide or go veto. She can't figure out the name, but she's talking about the hide or go veto there. That's her other bucket list. And then easiest part and hardest part of being a house guest is going to be the cleanliness, she says. She's heard that they have to clean the house themselves and all that good stuff, and she thinks that her standard of cleaning might not be the same as everyone else's, so that's going to be hard for her. And then another hard part of being in the house this summer is going to be being away from all of her friends because she misses them and her family because she misses them so much. Then the easiest part for her is being in the house because she's just able to be herself. And yeah, I mean, I like her a lot. I think that she definitely has very good vibes. And what I like about her is that she has a different type of strategy than other people. She's not necessarily here to be in the forefront of things, but she's going to be fairly neutral to what's going on. And when you do that, that turns you into a number for everybody. And I think that's really good that she's willing to do that. I think that she has a really good read on, I think that she has a really good mind for the game, and I definitely do see that from her. My only concern, I would say, is this going to be like a T-Core situation last season where she kind of plays into that early on and it works, but then she continues to do that and her strategy just isn't able to evolve. If she comes in and she's playing a game where she's just neutral, she's kind of just everything, and, it's people like her, but then she has a moment where she can make a move. Is she actually going to take it? That is something I'm not too certain about. She does say that she could fit into either hero or villain, and I think it's good that she's willing to kind of be whatever. I think, only other thing to really talk about is that she talks about she's a little bit too emotional and things like that, but I don't think that's necessarily going to be a problem for her. I think, again, really my only concern is, can her strategy evolve? Because often what I see from not just T-Core, but a lot of Big Brother house guests is they have one way of playing the game and they're just not able to evolve beyond that. And what I worry about with somebody like Mickey is she's coming in, she has a set strategy of what she wants to do, but eventually she's going to have to make a decision. You can't be neutral the entire game because eventually you are going to have to choose a side. And my question is she going to be able to choose that side? Or is she just going to be in a place where it's like, I like everybody, I actually don't know what I want to do. And so that's really I would say, my main concern with her. Other than that, I like her a lot. I think she's going to be someone that is really fun to watch. I think she's going to be definitely someone that could be a potential winner pick. And that, yes, Nicole is another really good example. I think Mimi is an even better comparison, to be honest, because Mimi was playing a game where she exuded this, like, you know, much more assertive, cutthroat attitude in the storage room, but she was never able to do that in actual conversation. She was very just kind of, again, neutral to things. She didn't really give really her opinion to other people. And I think that's ultimately what got her in the end. So again, my concern with Nikki is that she's going to end up in a similar spot where, like, either she's going to go early jury, or she's going to have that moment where she's like, wait a minute, I do need to make a choice here. Wait a minute, I do have to pick a side. She's going to choose a side. She's going to make that move, and that's going to get her the win. So if she's able to do that, avoid what T-Core couldn't do, avoid what Mimi couldn't do, then I think she has the potential to actually win this game. It's just, again, is she able to have that self-awareness? That is something that we will have to see. So, like Mickey a lot. I hope she does well. There's just a few things I'm a little bit concerned about. So, yeah, that's kind of where I'm at with her. We're nearing the end here. I think we only have a few people left to talk about. Actually, let me see. We got 1, we got 2, we got 3, 4 more people to talk about. Okay, so yeah, we're nearing the end here. We're gonna go to this next person. This is Morgan Pope. She is 33 years old. She's from Palm Springs, California, but she currently resides in Los Angeles, California, and she is a gamer. Reaction to getting to play Big Brother is that she's not going to lie. She feels like she kind of has to pinch herself that she's actually here. It's very comfortable. It's crazy. It's actually nuts. She can't wait to turn this house upside down. That it would be really cool. She says that she's coming in here, make sure we're ready, bring our teacups. She's going to bring all the tea and serve it up, and she hopes that we're ready for it. Why she's going to win Big Brother is because these house guests are going to have no idea that she's this gamer girl and that she's here to rock their world. She's going to keep that secret because if she tells them that she's a gamer, they're going to boot her right away. So she's going to keep that to herself and just sneak by and take the whole house by storm. What is she going to bring to the show nobody has really seen before is that she doesn't know if people have had, women that are gamers in the house before. And that's kind of something that she is hoping that she brings to the table, but also that she's just her natural bubbly personality is going to be really fun to see in the house. She's a nerd. So that's love. Again, embrace the nerdery, like I said, and it seems like that's what Morgan's doing. She thinks last but not least, she's going to bring her humor, which is hilarious. Maybe people like to laugh at her, but that's fine as long as they're both laughing. Telling us a little bit about herself is that she's a former Division I track athlete. She was raised to be determined, strong-willed, and resilient and keep fighting no matter what. And she feels like Big Brother. She has to keep fighting no matter if she's on the block, even if she's HOH. We've seen people win HOH and then go home the next week. So no matter how high you are, you can be at the bottom the next week. So no matter what, she's going to come into fight as long as she possibly can. And if she has to take down people with her, she's absolutely going to do it. So yeah, that's kind of how she feels about that. Fan level Big Brother is that she's not a super fan, but her mom loves Big Brother. Her and her mom had watched seasons 5 and 6 when she was in high school. So, she wants to do this for her family. They do everything for her. That's kind of cool. So she's watched pretty early, but it seems like she only watched like 5 and 6. She's watched a couple seasons when she was growing up. Thought it was cool, especially for her as an athlete. She sees these comps and she wants to be on the wall comps. She wants to be in Big Brother comics and show those people that just because she's not an athlete anymore doesn't mean she can't compete and win these games. Strategy going in is that she wants to not come out guns blazing, trying to win everything as much as her competitive heart wants her to do that. She has not seen a success story where someone just comes in and wins everything and wins the whole game. It would be nice if she could do that, but honestly, it feels like for her, creating the smallest amount of a target is just going to be what's best for her. So she's going to lean on her social game and just keep that in her back pocket. She's a gamer girl that has a lot of strategies coming their way, so she'll pull those out when she needs to. And then what makes Big Brother a successful show? I'm probably going to stop reading this one. I don't think there's much to read there. How she's going to crush her enemies is that she's a former Division I track athlete, so she feels like she's naturally competitive. She's going to want to win every physical comp, but the whole thing of this game is to not win everything. It's to win when you have to. So she's going to take that gamer knowledge and decide when she wants to win and just rely on her social game to take her along the way. Biggest strengths is that she's a first-person shooter. Her main game is that she's a first-person shooter game, but she also loves playing survival games. So for her, when it comes to first-person shooter games, she plays a battle royale. Essentially, that is the final team standing wins. So you have to decide what angles you're going to take, maybe what transitions, what legends you're going to play. So for her, she's going to take that in the house and decide whether she's going to pull out what personality, maybe being a little flirty, maybe being a little devious, maybe just being herself, but she'll have to see. She thinks being a gamer is going to be super helpful in the house and kind of figure out help her navigate what angle she wants to take. And their biggest weakness is that she's an empath. She feels for a lot of people, and that's an easy way to kind of be manipulated, but not to worry because she's an older sister, and usually older sisters are the ones doing the manipulating to the little brothers. So she thinks she can pretty much handle that. So in terms of keeping secrets, she's not going to tell the house guests that she's a gamer because she feels like that's going to put a huge target on her back. Opening with showmance that she says she's not standing in front of a bunch of books. If one of those books just happened to read ends up being a book involved with showmances, she's kind of open for it. But what's the worst that can happen? So she's not necessarily against it. Hero or villain, she says that she thinks villains are really cool. One of her favorites is Scar. He's very iconic. She honestly would love to be more of a hero. But, a lot of times she plays these games, she goes against villains or something about defeating a villain and being the hero that is just so worthwhile. So she feels like as much as she would love to be a villain, she just naturally feels like she fits more into the heroic role. Why she's going to be a player to watch is because people are not going to expect the fact that she would be this crazy gamer. And a lot of people are going to think that it's not a big deal. She's competed in some of the biggest competitions against some of the biggest pros in the world. She stood her ground and hung with them. So not only has she competed against them, she's also competed alongside them. So she's taken a lot of tips and tools from the games that she plays every day. Wake up, her PC is on, and she's gaming till sundown. So, with Big Brother, you're gaming 24/7. So she feels like she was born and raised for this game. Easiest and hardest part of being a house guest is that her whole plan is to just go in and be yourself naturally. It's probably the answer, but it's the only thing that feels right to her. And she feels like the hardest part is going to determine who's really with who's really with her more so, and how she can navigate when to take those big moves. And then standout moments is a couple. One of them was Janelle, who won HOH and told Jennifer to give her that key. I love that line because if she didn't win, that she would have went home. Yeah, that was a great moment. And just her resilience in the game was just incredible and not afraid to let people know how she felt. I like Morgan a lot. I think that there's a lot of qualities that I think could definitely lead to her going far. She also seems a little too game body for my liking, and I think that could definitely be an issue. My worry with Morgan is that she's going to just be all strategy and really not enough personality. People aren't going to feel like they really know her. She's just always in game mode. She's always talking to them. She's always thinking about strategies. And I feel like that could definitely be an issue for her, is that she's so focused on the game. She's not really focused on making those individual connections. And I think I agree with 8 Loves here. I think she's not going to be able to hide that strategic side of her just because she's so entrenched into that side of, things. She's so used to just being a gamer and looking at things through a certain lens that I think it's going to be tough for her. And I think that that's definitely going to be an issue. But I think, again, she's definitely very confident. And I think that if she has the right people, I think she could absolutely be a force. I mean, the way that she looks at the game is so interesting. I can already imagine they're going to do an edit of sorts where, she talks about being in a first person shooter game, and we're going to have this edit where they show everyone as if they're in a video game. I'm looking forward to that. I can absolutely see that being the case. I think, again, she's someone who I'm kind of up in the air with. I think she could go either way, where it's either this is something that's really going to help her excel and she's going to get very far in the game because she's always going to be a step ahead of people in terms of what she's thinking strategically, or people are going to see her threat level early on and that's going to be a problem for her and she's going to get sniped as a result of that. I don't know which one Morgan's going to fall into. I like her though. I hope she does well. And yeah, I think that's all I need to say about Morgan. Let's move on to Beast Mode Cowboy. Rylie Jeffries, who's 27 years old, resides in Luther, Oklahoma. He's a professional bull rider. What the fuck? But that's apparently his occupation. Reaction to getting to play Big Brother is that it's the best freaking thing that's ever happened to him. He's thinking about each and every single day, cutting down closer and closer, being a house. I'm not reading this whole thing. I don't think I need to say that. Why he wants to compete on Big Brother is that family. His mom and dad are super fans. His brother and his sister, they're all super fans. They've watched it since season 1. And so now he's here. He gets the chance. They're going to try to pull this from as much as he can because he's hoping that he's here to stay. What makes Big Brother such a successful show? I don't need to read that one anymore. Strategy going into the game is that he's just going to be very calm, cool, and collective. He's going to go and be himself. Not going to be too much or be too little. He's going to stand off and make people think he's a weirdo or try to exclude himself. He wants to be someone that surrounds himself, but also not the type of person that's a follower. Because in this game, you kind of have to be a follower and, go with the flow. So he's just going to simply do that. He's been watching for so long that he's picked different pieces and different people out of the show and took the good in what helped them out of their season, trying to put it into one person. So see how that goes and see what happens. So that's kind of his strategy going in. A little bit of a boring strategy, but, a little bit about himself is that he's from Luther, Oklahoma. He's a small town guy. With big odd dreams. Wouldn't say he's a kid, he's 27, but his whole life he's grown up, hunted and fished, and just a lot of stuff that you don't quit. And it shows that if you don't quit, you just got to keep going after what you want, even if that is trophy buck or that's trophy base. I don't care about fishing, but his mom and dad, they've done the best they can to just make him into the man he is today. They pushed him to just be respectful and appreciative of others. All right, whatever. We don't have a lot. They got Sonic and 2 convenience stores. They have a Walmart market, so it's got taken away. Now they've got $1 general market, so they still got eggs in their groceries and stuff. Okay, cool. Apparently he was in kind of a, rough background. So let's see. Bringing a lot to the show nobody's seen before. He says he's a bull riding son of a bitch. That means business, baby. He doesn't know if they've ever had a bull rider on this, but he means business. He knows what he wants. That's what he brings to the show. He brings the damn determination, the grit. They're going to try like I am trying so hard to not read this in a stereotypical Southern accent, but I just can't help myself to do it because it's just right there. And I feel like I have to, but I'm not going to do that. Because 1, I don't know if he sounds like that. 2, I'm just, for the purpose of this video, I'm not going to do that. But he's met a lot of people, and they're just like, they've never met a guy like him. He's trying to be himself, got a lot of energy. He doesn't like negativity, likes being positive and smiling. If there's ever an argument in the house, he'll probably start laughing because it's just funny to him. He doesn't like negativity, doesn't like sad or harsh moments. He knows there's going to be a lot of that because he can't control anything by any means, but he's just a happy person all the time. Why he's going to win is because he's ridden. Why does he care so much about the fucking bull riding? But he's ridden bulls for 15 years, and what doesn't kill makes him stronger. He's been thrown, he's been bucked off, he's been thrown down, broken legs, jawed twice, hasn't quit. All right. Keeping any secrets, he's going to go in and not hide anything about himself. Biggest weakness is that if a pretty woman comes in and just makes him believe everything she says, he believes people until they give him a reason not to believe them. So he could literally just sit here and bullshit his way through conversations and believe him until he gets that reason to not really believe them. Open to a showmance, he says love knows no boundaries. If a woman comes in and his heart sees what it sees and loves what it loves and feels what it feels, okay, so he'll definitely be in a showmance. Cool. Good to know. Hero or villain, he thinks he's going to be a hero. He's not the type of guy that likes to go out and just get his revenge. He wants everybody to succeed. Every fucking question this guy answers in a roundabout way. What will your secret weapon be in the house? He's going to kill them with kindness, going to smile on your face. He's going to love you while you hate me. So yeah, he's going to kill him with kindness and smile his way through everything. That's kind of like his secret weapon. Big Brother bucket list is that he just wants to go out there and have fun, opportunity of a lifetime, wants to actually walk in and show people who he is. Standout moments, he talks about nothing in particular. He just says he likes seeing people win, seeing people strategize, compete to the very end because they know what they want. That's some of the best moments to ever see, especially winning the competitions that need to be won and just seeing the people go up into the HOH room and getting pictures of their families or just reading certain things. He loves that type of moments, are the most heart-filled moments, and that's kind of what he lives for. He lives for the heart-filled moments of life. Life isn't as serious as we make it, but it is what we make it, if that makes sense. Jesus fucking Christ, that was insufferable. Not a fan. I'm not a fan at all. This is a cast of mostly normal people. Rylie just seems like a cartoon character to me. Like everything about him, I just feel like I'm Rylie. I'm the typical Southern guy. I ride a lot of bulls. I smile my way through all these conversations. Like, that's just the vibe I get from him. And I don't feel like it's going to be very fun to watch. I'm not into anything that he's doing. I feel like he's going to be somebody who is very naive of the game that's going on around him. And so as a result, he's probably going to go mad early in the game because he's going to win a lot of comps and he's not going to be able to help himself. He's not coming in with much of a strategy. He says he's just going to kind of smile his way through everything. But he also says that, like, he's super easy to manipulate. So that's really bad. Like, I think what's going to happen is that he's going to get in the house. He's going to find some girl that he wants to showmance with, and she's just going to completely manipulate him, and he's not going to be able to do a damn thing about it because he's just that naive. So, yeah, Rylie right now, probably the person that I feel like is like the prime candidate to go the earliest. I don't know if he's going to be first boot, but I wouldn't be surprised if he is because I just feel like everything about him does not fit on this cast. There's nothing about Rylie that sticks out to me. All of his answers I thought were just so cut and dry. Yeah, I think Frenchie's a safe bet, but I don't think he's going to be as entertaining as Frenchie. I think Monty's probably a better answer in terms of BBOTT because he just seems so like just kind of whatever. I don't really feel like I said, he's going to be clued into what's going on in the house. I feel like we're going to hear constant. My God, I already know right now, they're going to do everything in their power to milk the bull riding thing. Every time they show him, you're going to hear like whips and you're going to hear like sound of bulls in the background. You're going to hear like banjo, like you're going to hear that constantly in the background. Like it's going to be constant. And I'm going to be so sick of it by the end. So yeah, I'm not a fan. Don't think he's going to do well. Probably going to be in a showmance and be the casualty of it. Yes, I can see that actually. Clay's a very good comparison. I feel like this is a guy who gets into a showmance with somebody and just fucking sacrifices himself because he just doesn't have any strategic acumen within him. So yeah, Rylie I don't care. I really don't care. Not a fan. So yeah, that's how I feel. Maybe he'll impress me and he'll be somebody that like is kind of a nice guy, but right now, I'm not a fan. All right, let's go to Vince. Sorry, Joseph, actually. Joseph. Yes, we're going to Joseph. Oh, sorry, Vince. This is actually Vince that we're talking about. So, yeah, in all seriousness, he's 34 years old. He's from West Hills, California. Apparently, he's unemployed, which is pretty interesting. I don't feel like we see that often on Big Brother. Reaction to playing is that it hasn't hit him yet. He's a massive fan. He's been watching since 16. He started watching the feeds on 18. Hey, that's also when I started watching the feeds, so that's kind of cool. Feels surreal being a house guest. Again, it hasn't really hit him yet. No matter what strategy comes into this, it could go out the window immediately. So it just is excitement, anxiousness. He's going to sweat through his deodorant thinking about it. He's just ready to go, and he's eager. He's been waiting a very long time for the opportunity. Strategy coming in is to compartmentalize the game into weekly mini games of Big Brother. This is interesting. He wants to view every single individual week as its own mini game. He needs to do that for those weeks is to survive it one at a time and slowly take it one step at a time. You can't say you're going to the World Series without winning enough games to get to the playoffs. So he has to win the individual days, individual conversations, weeks, whatever that may be. Take it 1 week at a time and then adapt and wing it, and then adapt, wing it, adapt. It's the Wawa technique. You just wing, adapt, wing, adapt. I actually like that a lot. I think that's a really, really interesting strategy. He's going to win Big Brother because he thinks that he naturally has the perfect formula of what it takes. He likes to call himself a master of none. He's really not the best at anything, but he's pretty good at almost everything. He's not a physical threat, but he thinks he'll be social enough to make the genuine connections as the foundation of strategizing. He does think he's athletic enough to compete with the best of them when he needs to. And if he can do all those things cohesively, he'll be in good shape. He just needs to have that perfect formula. And he thinks it's just in his core. He has the social skills, the physical athleticism to compete with the best of them without ever actually looking like a massive threat. Greatest strengths is having empathy, which he thinks is very important in the Big Brother house, his communication skills, his self-awareness. He thinks that he's self-aware, which is something that a surprising amount of people don't have as much as they should. And again, self-awareness is very huge, and I agree. I think self-awareness is very important, especially in a game like Big Brother. Greatest weakness is that he thinks that if he gets a little too excited, he might say the wrong thing. He's not going to try to, but he has to be mindful of that self-awareness and his competitiveness. He's not a poor sport, but he doesn't want to get too riled up if he's not doing as well as he expects himself to do. So that's kind of his weakness. Keeping any secrets is that he doesn't know if there are any secrets because he doesn't want to have any lie where he has to hold on to it for an entire 3-month period. Because he's probably going to forget. He doesn't want to lie about his age, even though he may look a little younger than he is. He talks about how if he said he was graduating high school and said 2009, and people are like, that doesn't make sense. That's pointless. He's thought about it. Should he not say that he's unemployed? Because they'll say that's weird. Why would a 34-year-old not be employed? Maybe he's a trust fund kid, or maybe he's already been successful at something. He's overthought everything. So there's not going to be any secrets that he's going to keep. And you know what? I think that's pretty refreshing, actually. How he's going to crush his enemies is because he has the self-awareness of reading people. He thinks he's very good at it, and he knows a lot of people probably say that coming into the Big Brother house, but he really thinks he has a hyper-awareness of how people are portraying themselves and how people are acting towards him. He's hyper-vigilant on those verbal and nonverbal cues of how their demeanor is, so he thinks he's going to be able to figure out who might not be on his side, and then will rally the troops to get rid of them before they get rid of him, and that is how he's going to crush his enemies. Bring to the show nobody has seen is that nobody has been more genuine than him. That's something he thinks he will bring to the table. He's a genuine human being, and he just can't fake that. What makes Big Brother such a successful show? I'm not going to read that one. Strategy going into the game is that he doesn't even know what he's doing on planet Earth, let alone what he's going to do in the Big Brother house. So he's just going to have to wing it. A little bit about his world on the outside. This part I do want to read because I read this and I thought this was actually very interesting. He says he doesn't want to sound too lost in life because he should have. He knows he should have things figured out, but he just hasn't set a long-term career path that he's found, that he's been very passionate about. So he's had a lot of different jobs throughout his adult life that he doesn't even really associate himself with. He's not sure really what he is. One of his hobbies is photography, and he would love to one day maybe have a career in maybe sports photography or something along those lines. He thinks that might be a lot of fun. His main goal is what he really wants to enjoy, and he knows what he wants. He knows what he doesn't want to do. He's had enough jobs to where he knows that he doesn't want to do that. He's just trying to figure out what he does want to do. So all in due time, he's not comparing himself to others, not going to stress himself out too hard. I like Vince a lot. I think he's very refreshing. What I like is that he's just very authentically himself. Everything I see about him just kind of gives me the vibe of somebody where, like, he knows exactly the kind of person that he is, and he's not afraid to hide much of anything. And I think that's very good going into the game. It's not very good playing, like, as the game goes on. I think what he said about the mini game thing is a really interesting way to look at the game because, I mean, we always say Big Brother is a marathon, not a sprint. You have to play on a week-to-week basis, and it seems like he is taking that quite literally, focusing on what do I need to do this week rather than what do I need to do the entire game, and I think that's really good that he is doing that. So, yeah, I mean, I think he's going to do pretty well. Like I said, I think my only concern is that he did say he doesn't know how to hold some information sometimes, and sometimes he gets a little bit too excited. That could be a problem, but I feel like he's just going to be kind of chill, but maybe even better than like a Keanu is at it. I think he's going to be somebody who, you know, you go to Vince, you go to Keanu, maybe he's kind of holding back a bit. He's a little bit too reserved, he's a little bit too quiet. You go to Joe, I want to say Joseph because he looks like Joseph. His name is Vince. This is not Joseph. But you go to Vince and he's much more open about what he's doing. He's much more honest about what he's doing. He gives you a lot more information. And I feel like people are just going to naturally gravitate towards him. So I feel like he's primed to be in some kind of an alliance. He's probably going to go pretty deep into the game. I don't know how far. But I do feel like, unlike somebody like a Joseph, I think the thing that Joseph struggled with was his social game. He was not very good at knowing when to use people. He was good at picking people up and like kind of gaming with them, but he never knew how to leave that. And I feel like Vince is someone who is just kind of an open book, and I think he's going to do very well in that regards. And I think, again, his self-awareness, it's such an important skill to have in Big Brother, and he just seems like someone who knows exactly the kind of person that he is, and I think that's really good for him. So, yeah, I feel very good about Vince. I think he's probably one of the guys that, like, I'm the most impressed by. I think he's going to go fairly far. So how far, I'm not sure, but I see things going pretty well for him. So that's kind of where we're at with Vince. Let's talk about the last person, and that is Zach Cornell. He is 27 years old. He resides in Cartersville, Georgia, and he's a marketing manager. Reaction Play Big Brother is that he's really excited. It's been a dream of mine. He's fallen in love with the show, and he's fired up to actually be in the house. He's hoping something crazy doesn't happen to vote him out week 1. He thinks that people are going to want to show themselves, and he doesn't want to use that to his advantage. Why he's going to win Big Brother is that he feels like he's the complete package. He doesn't say that in a cocky way, but he knows that from all the different steps in his life. He was a pastor's kid that grew up very shy. Oh my God, this is long. Thank God this is the last one. Grew up very shy in a very sheltered home. He had to come out of his shell when he got to college. It was his first day in college, so he saw somebody smoking weed for the first time. He had to really adapt and then ultimately move from there into professional baseball. He's then living with 7 people in the same house all at once. There's a lot of different aspects in his life that he really had to change himself to understand what's going on in his environment. And ultimately, that is going to be the number one reason why he thinks he's going to win. But he also feels like this is an always ever-changing game. When he sees people on their day 45 sleeping, taking a nap, not really paying attention to their surroundings, it drives him insane, especially because he's a competitor, somebody who really appreciates the show. He knows he's always going to be on his feet, whether it's working out. He's going to make sure that he's always there with somebody, or if somebody that's not even closely related to him that has different likes and dislikes, he's going to be that person that's going to be there for them. He has an interest of getting to know everybody. He's really interested in getting to know all their deepest, darkest secrets, and he knows ultimately that's what it's going to take to win Big Brother. So his strategy going into the game is that he knows he's going to be perceived as a threat day 1, because he is somebody that's more athletically built, somebody that can really interact well with other people around him. And so he's really going to push himself that he's just a pastor's kid. He wants to be somebody that other people can feel trust immediately when they get in the house, because he knows the people are going to be worried if people like them, if they dislike them, especially when it's 15 random people that he's never met before. And so he wants to kind of lay low and maybe create some kind of an alliance. And, he wants to be the person to tell him that. He doesn't want to be the person to do that. So he wants to lay low for that reason. Hopefully there are a bunch of crazies in there. He mentions that he hopes that there's another Angela that goes off the deep end and is ultimately the person that would get kicked out week 1, even though Angela was the HOH then. He says that his ultimate goal is to build deeper relationships once they get into weeks 2, 3, and 4. That's when he will really start to see those alliances form. That's when he ultimately wants to do. He wants to be there with a final 2 with somebody that you would have no idea who that person is. You would never be able to guess them right. And he wants to have that final 2, have a bunch of different alliances with people that he feels like he can relate to as well. So he's going to play a much more risky game when it comes to really interacting with people. Biggest strengths is that he's a very athletic person, somebody that can be the center of the room to really start conversations. He really feels like he is that person. He knows that there are weaknesses that come with it, but when it comes to really being an instigator, he is that person. And then biggest weaknesses is that he knows the way that he can play. He can be a threat as well. And if he is somebody that is too far out there when it comes to trying to interact with people, if you are the person that's trying to start the alliance, even though that's spelled wrong, people can perceive that as a threat. So he knows that it can be a double-edged sword, being somebody that is very confident in the game. So he's going to have to use it very carefully, very wisely when he gets into the house. Any secrets he wants to keep from people is he's not sure if he wants to tell people that he played professional baseball, but he honestly feels like he can probably use it as a strength. So he will be revealing that when he gets in the house. So probably not planning to hold any secrets. What he brings to the show that nobody's seen before is that he is an all-around player. He knows that in last season you had people like MJ, who was a challenge beast, or somebody like Chelsea, who ended up winning the show. He wants to be the person that combines the two. He really appreciates what Tucker did last season, flipping the house upside down. So his goal ultimately is to go in there and be all 3 at once, but you should not try to play like Tucker. Like that's not what you should do. And yes, I know I said that this would be 3 hours long. I don't know why we're surprised. But so he said that he wants to kind of flip the house. He's watched enough competition shows to realize when you need to take that step forward and when you really need to reel it back in. So to be somebody that you've never seen before, his ultimate goal is to be all 3 of those people from last season. What makes it such a successful show? Again, I'm not going to read that because we're taking up too much time here. Player to watch this season because he's going to be the one that is going to be that player that comes in there with charm. He will be the person that will be flirting it up with fellow people, getting along with other people, being that person that everyone feels like they can come to. And when it's time to flip the house upside down, He will really dig his heels in and win those challenges. He will win them, and there's somebody that needs him as a pawn when it comes to an alliance. He's not afraid to do it if it's for the right scenario. He's very much so willing to play the game on the edge, and he knows that's what America wants to see. That's what he envisions himself coming into the house to do, and that's the reason why people are going to tune in. Open for a showmance, he says that he is gearing up for a very beautiful woman to come in the house. He knows that his mom is very religious and she's Filipino, and she told him that if she ever sees him sleeping next to another girl when he gets back to the house, she's going to murder him. So he does have that in the back of his head when it comes to a showmance, but he already told her that he's going to do whatever it takes to win. So if he happens to find love in the process, he's more than thrilled to do that. Hero or a villain, it says it really comes down to who he is. He views somebody like Tucker. People viewed him in the house as a villain. However, somebody that's watching, we viewed him as a hero, or at least he did. So it's going to come down to the scenarios that they get into. He's not afraid to turn on people, so you could really perceive him as a villain when it comes to it, because he's not afraid to turn on people, lie, cheat, steal, do whatever it takes to win. That's kind of how he sees himself. Seems like he's willing to do kind of whatever. BB bucket list is to win HOH. Feels like that's the number one thing he's always dreamt of, especially growing up. Easiest and hardest parts is that the summer is actually to get along with everybody. He thinks that's the easiest thing. However, the hardest thing is to also get along with everybody for 90 days, because by day 60, there's going to be somebody that pisses him off, either by not putting plates away, going to irritate him. So the ultimate goal is to stay even-keeled. Maybe he's the one to beef with Ava. Maybe that's what happens here. I feel like that could be the possibility, that they're the two that kind of go back and forth. They could have like a Tucker Lisa of it all. Standout moments, he talks about Zach in season 16, called out Devin and made fun of Paula at the same time, found that absolutely hilarious. And then the most recent season, when Tucker ran through, flipped the house upside down, that is something he's always envisioned for himself, and he wants to do the same thing. And I'm questionable on Zach. I'm very questionable on Zach, because I think he has the right idea for the beginning of the game. The idea that he wants to just kind of lay low. He doesn't want to be the one to orchestrate alliances. He could be pulled into them, but he's kind of trying to lay low. He's not trying to do anything crazy. He wants folks on being a pastor's kid. I think that's great. But you know who also had a really good start? Tucker. And you know who didn't end up doing well in the game? Tucker. And the fact that he's so adamant about modeling his game around Tucker, this is kind of the downside of Tucker last season. The upside is that Tucker got a lot of people to watch the show and talk about the show that haven't watched the show in a while. The downside of Tucker is that people are going to want to try to play like him. And unfortunately, that's just not optimal strategy for Big Brother. You don't want to be like Tucker, because Tucker was just doing things to do them because he was bored, not really because he needed to, simply because he wanted to. And I feel like Zach is going to have a similar trajectory here, where he's just going to play a little too hard, too fast. He's going to be I think, honestly, he could be the Tucker for BB, for this season's BB blockbuster. I could absolutely see that being the case. I think he wins too many competitions. I think he goes on a bit of a run, but then there's a point where it's like, we got to get Zach out. He's doing too much. He's winning too many things. Everybody's good with him. Everybody's annoyed by him. And I feel like that's ultimately what's going to happen for him. So I really don't know. I think he's going to overplay, and I don't think it's going to go nearly as well as he hopes it will. Like I said, I think he has a solid start, and I think that, there are things that he's doing that I think are good. I like the fact that he wants to connect with people and things like that, and I like everything he said in the beginning, but the second that he said he wants to kind of model his game after Tucker, that's kind of where he lost me. Because listen, I was a huge Tucker fan. I loved Tucker last season. I think he's a great personality. But a good player, I don't know if I'd say that. There's a lot of things that Tucker did last season that I really don't think were good. I think he played way too hard, way too fast. And I just don't think he's somebody that you want to model your gameplay after. Is he somebody that, like, you want to embody his passion? You want to embody his love for the game? Sure. But the game that he played is never going to be a winning one. And I hope that Zach is able to recognize that. If he's able to recognize that, like, what happened with Tucker wasn't good, like, what worked for Tucker didn't work as well as it should have, and it won't work for me either, I think then that's going to be good. But the problem is that it seems like he's going in thinking like, oh, Tucker's a hero and things like that. And, I kind of want to be the Tucker that just flips things upside down. But if you're going to do that, you need to have a reason for doing that. You can't just flip things to flip things because you're bored. And that's what I worry that Zach's going to do. And I think that's probably my biggest concern with him. So that's Zach, and that's the cast. That's the cast overall. I'm going to pull up the graphic one more time. Overall, this is a pretty solid bunch, I'd say. I like a lot of the people that are here. There's not too many people that I dislike. You want some people I really like. I'll mention them right now. People that I like, but that I don't know if they're going to do well. Ava's definitely one of them. I like Ava a lot, but I really worry that she's going to be a little too over the top, and that's going to rub some people the wrong way. I like Morgan a lot for the same reasons, but I don't know how well she's going to do. I like Zach because I think he's going to be fun to watch, but I don't think he's going to do too well, so I'm not sure how he's really going to do. People who I think are big contenders, though, that I think could absolutely win the... Adrian, also, I like his passion, but I have no idea what to do with him. There's certain people here I also just don't know what to do with. People I don't like, really just Rylie, to be honest with you. Riley's the only one that I just straight up don't like at all. Lauren, I'm kind of whatever with, but Riley's the one where I'm just I'm not a fan of anything you're doing. I don't like the way you phrase things. I don't like the way you answer questions. I feel like you're just going to be talking about riding bulls all season, and I'm just not excited for that. So that's probably the one person that I'm just really not a fan of, at all. Everybody else, I think has, traits to them. But the people I think are going to do the best on this season, you want me to give you, 3 people who I feel very confident with. One of them is Vince. I really like his strat. Well, actually, I'll give you 4. Vince is someone I really like his strategy. I like what he talks about with the mini games. I feel like he could do very well in the game. I really like Jimmy. I think Jimmy is someone that early on I could see doing very well, insulating himself with people, putting himself in a spot where he's not necessarily top dog of the alliance, but he's somebody that is in every strategic conversation, every person's pocket, and he's kind of willing to do whatever, and I think he could go very far as a result of that. Mickey is someone I like a lot. I did mention before there are some concerns, but I like the way that she's trying to play the game, and I think that she could go very far as a result of that. And then the last person, probably the person I think has the best chance of winning this entire thing, is Ashley. Out of everybody, she's the person I got the most from. She's the person I think has the best strategy. She's kind of has a mixture of everything, and I just feel like ultimately she has what it takes to win this game. Not say the others don't. They because they really do. They're, like I said, there's some question marks I have, like an Amy, who I think very circumstantial with her. If she's able to build that alliance, then great. If not, I don't know how she's going to do. Someone like a Kelley, someone like a Keanu, I feel like those are all potentially early boots. But Ashley really just embodies everything you want in a Big Brother player from her interview. It seems like, she knows what to do strategically. She knows what to do socially. She's even a bit of a physical threat, but she's going to downplay that, and everyone's going to bond with her as a result of that. So for me, I think Ashley is probably my big winner pick here. But overall, really good group. I think this has the potential to be a really strong season. I'm really interested to see how everything does end up playing out moving forward. Now, we got a bit of a strange schedule this time around. The premiere is on Thursday. The significant thing about it is that we have not had any Big Brother since Big Brother 26, so this is the longest wait we have had for a Big Brother season, so I really hope this one ends up paying off. I think it will. I'm feeling pretty confident in how this season's ultimately going to play out. But there's obviously concerns coming off a great season like Big Brother 26. Maybe this one won't deliver as much, but this is a really good cast, so I'm feeling pretty confident about it. But yeah, we have the episode on Thursday, and then we literally don't have an episode again until Sunday. Really weird schedule. I don't know who decided to do that, but Wednesday was right there. I don't know why you didn't just do the Wednesday, Thursday. We could have had feeds on Thursday and still see everything that's going to happen Friday, Saturday, the most crucial days of the entire week. I don't know why they are starting the feeds on a Sunday. That is easily one of the most uneventful days of the game. Things are pretty locked in at that point. There's not really much to do. I mean, it is the first week, so maybe things will be exciting, but I just feel again, Wednesday, Thursday, it just makes so much more sense to do that. This was clearly supposed to be a 2-night premiere. I don't know why they took that big gap, but I digress. That's what they decided to do. They're not going to change it. It's like me ranting about the live feed thing last year for 20 minutes in my last cast assessment. They didn't change that. Maybe they're going to change it this season, but they're not going to change the time that the feeds start. And there's just not much I can really do. So I'm not going to spend too much time ranting about it too much. But yeah, overall, that is the cast. Let me know what you guys thought. Thank you to everybody that was watching. Actually, pretty solid group of people watching. Normally when I do these, I don't really get a lot of people, but a lot of people watching. 8 Loves, Jazzy, Grace chimed in a little bit, mainly to just like shade me, which, you know, typical for Grace to do that, you know, making fun of me and things like that. You know, I completely understand that. No, like I said, it starts Thursday. It's really weird. I don't know why, but also thank you, Violet, for watching. Hopefully you're able to actually watch this season and not watch 3 episodes and then tell me you don't want to watch it anymore, like every season. Thank you, 8 Loves, as well. I don't think I've seen you in here before, but I really appreciated your insight throughout this entire thing. Liquidated, I don't know if you're still watching, but really cool to see you. Haven't interacted with you in quite a bit, so pretty cool to see you in here for sure. But yeah, overall, really fun time. What to look forward to on my channel? Well, like I said, do not expect any catch-up videos going forward, because I'm just kind of at a point where it's just not going to happen. I've tried for the past 3 years to constantly like do all these catch-up videos, like all these like what I watched, all these like catch-up reviews, and all it does is make me fall further behind. And so I'm kind of just not in the mood to do that anymore. And I feel like overall that's just not going to be a good idea for me moving forward. I feel like mentally, especially, like it's been very hard for me to want to make videos knowing I have like 10 videos to do, but knowing I can just kind of pace myself and just do videos when I feel like it. I think that's kind of what I want to do moving forward. I filmed like a bunch of videos in January. I was trying to do reviews like Severance and The Traitors, and those never really materialized. I have the reviews recorded, but I'm not going to upload them now. Those seasons have been done for forever, so they're probably just going to end up not uploaded at that point. Didn't even end up reviewing the finale of Severance or Traitors, so that kind of tells you like how much I feel like I was kind of forcing it at the time. So yeah, don't expect to see too many like catch-up stuff. Probably the next movie review you'll see is for Jurassic World Rebirth. I'm going to see it again tomorrow, and then I'm going to do my review then, so you can look forward to that. I will be doing like reviews of Superman and things like that. And then, of course, Big Brother. I'll be doing weekly reviews for this season, as I typically do. Similar to last time, I will also be doing like what we didn't see for like the things like that, because I think it's very important to do that, especially, again, when they are not including certain things in the episodes. I think it's very good to give it a generalization of what we didn't actually see on the show. So I'm still planning to do that. So look forward to more like fucking 2.5 hour videos. If this is anything like last season, you can look forward to that. Weekly coverage, not at all episode coverage, not going to do that. We do week to week here. It's so much easier to do it that way. So we're just going to continue to do it that way. And then other than that, you guys can look forward to other reviews for movies and TV shows. I'm going to be doing weekly reviews of Alien Earth when that comes out. Very excited for that show. Big Noah Hawley fan, so absolutely looking forward to that. Other than that, I think that's pretty much it. 2.5 hour, yes, 2.5 hour video, yes, just like the majority of them last season. But other than that, that's pretty much it. If you guys enjoyed this video, I have a ton of other Big Brother coverage out there. You guys can check out last season, Big Brother 26. I don't have a chance to put a playlist at the end of this, but I will do so probably in like the comments down below if you guys want to check that out. I did a lot of Big Brother coverage last season, probably the most into a Big Brother season I was in a while. I hope this season is the same as that. I was reviewing Survivor, tried to review 48, and then 48 started boring me, so I kind of just fell off of that. So, you know, never uploaded reviews there, but I did review 47. We'll absolutely be reviewing 49, and then I'm planning to watch all the seasons for people who have played in 50 that I haven't seen before. I've only seen 41 through 48, so I'm planning to go ahead and watch through some of those, so I'm excited to do that. But other than that, guys, it's pretty much it for this video. Let me know what you guys thought of it. Would love to hear your thoughts on all of that. Of course, like I said, check out, if you're new to this channel, like 8 Loves, for example, I do review Big Brother, but I also mainly do like movie and TV reviews. So if you're into any of that, definitely consider checking out my channel and looking through all this stuff there. I know you said you already subscribed, so you can see all of that right there. But that's it for this video. Hope you guys enjoyed it, and I will see you guys later. Okay, bye.